500 was down 95 points. The NASDAQ was down 518 points. From Creative Planning, I'm Anthony Priester.
Giannis is gone. So now what? The Bucks pull off a blockbuster trade, dealing to Miami the best player in their franchise's history and one of the best ambassadors for Milwaukee and Wisconsin the sports world has ever had. Welcome to the Tuesday edition of the Dan O'Donnell Show. Obviously, the Giannis trade is the single biggest story in the state. So for those of you who are firmly in the stick to the issues crowd, please be aware that sometimes the issue is sports and sometimes sports is the issue. How does an organization like the Bucks move forward? And is there an element here that we can all learn from? This, of course, is going to lead off the Dan O'Donnell Show today. If you would like to join us, 414-799-1130 on our Carpetland USA Flooring Center talk and text line. If you can't get through on the phones or you'd prefer to shoot me an email, dod@iheartmedia.com. Watch the show streaming live via the Dano Cam or follow us on social media at Dan O'Donnell Show on X, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Please, as the kids say, like and subscribe, smash that like button. And if you miss a single second of today's program, be sure to subscribe and listen to the Dan O'Donnell Show podcast on iHeartRadio or wherever you listen to podcasts. The NBA draft is tonight, and Bucks ownership had been saying for pretty much the entire second half of the NBA season that they wanted to get a deal done by draft day. They did. Late last night, the announcement came. The Bucks are trading both Giannis and Bobby Portis to the Miami Heat in exchange for Tyler Hero, the Greenfield native and Whitnall High School alum, Kel'el Ware, Jamie Jaquez Jr., Kasparis Giannakis. I should probably figure out how to pronounce that last name, just like it took me about a month and a half to pronounce Antetokounmpo. The Bucks also get 3 first-round picks, including number 13 overall tonight, plus the 2031 and 2033 Miami first-round picks. They also get 1 first-round pick swap in 2030 and 1 second-round pick in 2033. Now, you might immediately be asking, why are the Bucks trading for draft picks so far off into the future? Why don't they want draft picks in 2027 or 28 or 29? Well, the NBA just made major changes to the way that the draft lottery is done. They moved to what's known as the 3-2-1 lottery system, and it basically classifies teams that don't make the NBA playoffs or that qualify for the play-in tournament but don't get one of the top 8 seeds, that they don't play their way into the NBA playoffs, to try to cut down on the possibility of tanking. You either get 3 lottery balls, 2 lottery balls, or 1 lottery ball. It is a big disincentive to finish with one of the 3 worst records in the NBA, because up until now, what takes effect for next year's draft lottery, you had about a 15% chance of winning the lottery if you were one of the worst 3 teams record-wise that season. Well, a whole lot of teams have been tanking to try to get top draft picks. Tonight's NBA draft is considered a very, very strong one. The top pick, A.J. DeBonsa, one of the highest-rated prospects to come out of college in quite some time. He's a one-and-done, as are all of the top 7 or 8 players in this draft, all of whom are potential NBA All-Stars. It's really the top 4 picks that are the most coveted. You've got a combo guard from Kansas by the name of Darren Peterson. You've You've also got Carlos Boozer's son, Cameron Boozer from Duke. He's projected to go number 3. You have also got Caleb Wilson of North Carolina, Darius Acuff Jr. Projected to go number 5. Keaton Wagler of Illinois projected to go number 6, somewhere in there. The Bucks have the number 10 and the number 13 pick tonight. Those 2 picks could be packaged to move up if the Bucks want to do so. Suffice it to say, though, that they want to stockpile as many valuable assets as possible. Now, as much as this Whitnall High School alum, proud class of 1999, would love to see Tyler Hero playing for the Bucks, he is almost certainly going to be traded. And in fact, today, the Bucks have already entered into discussions with the Detroit Pistons, who have wanted to trade for Hero and were rumored to be part of a potential 3-team deal that would have sent Giannis to Miami and Tyler Hero to Detroit. Well, what the Bucks can do now is, with every single one of the players that they got in exchange for Giannis and all of the players that remain on their roster, say like a Kyle Kuzma, somebody like that, what they can do is continually flip those players into draft picks. And you want draft picks after 2029 because that's when the current experiment with the 3-2-1 lottery system expires. Teams think that the NBA is probably going to go back to something like the current lottery system in 2030. So you want those draft picks to be in that range. Not only that, I think where things are sort of headed for the Bucks is that this is going to be a pretty doggone bad team for the next 3 years. And that's not the worst thing in the world. The San Antonio Spurs were, frankly, horrible. They strategically tanked for 2 seasons, starting in 22 and then the following year. They were lucky enough to get the single biggest generational prospect, and I mean that literally. He's 7'4", probably since LeBron James, in Victor Wembanyama. This was a franchise-altering pick. The following year, they drafted number 4. They got Stephon Castle, very, very good player, excellent defender. And then last year, this past draft, they got Dylan Harper at number 2. They went to the NBA Finals. This is a very young team, but they were able to rebuild very quickly. The classic example of what I think the Bucks need to do is the Oklahoma City Thunder. People forget, but about 15 years ago, Oklahoma City had Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, and James Harden all on the same team. They also had Serge Ibaka. Well, unfortunately, their path to the NBA Finals was constantly blocked by the Golden State Warriors. And eventually, in 2016, Kevin Durant had enough. And on the 4th of July, after blowing a 3-0 or 3-1 lead in the Western Conference Finals against Golden State, Kevin Durant made the ultimate wuss move and signed with Golden State. The Thunder realized that they had to blow it up. They needed to trade Russell Westbrook. They needed to just turn the page on the Big 3 era. So what they did was constantly trade players, constantly trade assets for draft picks, and then flip those draft picks for more draft picks. In 2019, they had Paul George, who at the time was somewhat in his prime. He's always sort of been injured, big star. They trade him to the LA Clippers for a massive haul, headlined by a young guard by the name of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who, of course, went on to become a 2-time NBA MVP. Same year, Russell Westbrook goes to the Rockets. They get Chris Paul back, but what the big haul was draft picks. They then continually flipped picks. They would take on bad contracts just so they would be able to get drafted. They would be able to flip those expiring contracts in exchange for more draft picks. This is frankly what the Bucks have to do. There is no other choice. And I think there's a lesson here. Everybody wanted to keep Giannis. If you believe Giannis, he wanted to stay in Milwaukee. He just didn't want to play for the Bucks. At some point, and it's a very, very difficult thing to do, but eventually that point comes. Things aren't working out. If you try to continue to make a bad situation worse because you believe, well, we're already invested in this, you're engaged in what's known as the sunk cost fallacy. The idea that I've already put a lot of money into this investment, I've already put a lot of time, I've already put a lot of my passion, a lot of my hard work into this, whatever cost I have incurred to try to make something work, whether it's a core of a basketball team to try to win a championship, whether it's a small business that started, whatever. We are all susceptible to the sunk cost fallacy. We believe because we've already put this much in, if we just keep digging, sometimes somehow we'll be able to get out of the hole. It doesn't work. The Bucks are in the position where I believe they got a pretty substantial haul for Giannis, but they didn't get nearly as much as a mid-level, just middling player, above average player by the name of Desmond Bane got in terms of draft picks, who's clearly an inferior player to Giannis, because they waited, because they engaged in the sunk cost fallacy and thought, hey, the Damian Lillard trade didn't work out. Let's try to keep Giannis happy by signing Miles Turner in free agency. Well, that didn't work out either. Let's hire Doc Rivers as the head coach. That really didn't work out. And because Giannis is going to be a free agent after this season, he doesn't have as much value, because what happens if things don't work out in Miami? Is he going to sign that extension, or is he going to just demand a trade if he does? Had the Bucks traded Giannis last draft, before last season, they would have gotten way more and the organization would have been in a much better position. Now, hindsight, of course, being what it is, it's easy to say that now. But the Bucks would have also gotten a much bigger haul had they traded Giannis in February. Now, people thought, okay, well, there's still a chance Giannis wants to be here, that Giannis will sign an extension. He's not going to demand a trade. And people were even hanging on to this potential delusion right up until the news of that trade broke. One thing that was very, very interesting about how all of this went down is that there were apparently a whole lot of people in the media here in Wisconsin that knew Giannis was done, that he didn't want to play for the Bucks anymore, and they kept it a secret. Milwaukee Journal Sentinel reporter Jim Osharski, who is the Bucks beat reporter, waited until paragraph 22 of his story today, outlining the Giannis trade, to drop this bombshell. Quote, Antetokounmpo also waffled on his commitment to the team throughout the season, which he said he regretted in an April podcast. But at the end of the year, he told the Journal Sentinel he was finished in Milwaukee. Don't you think that should have been reported? Now, I get it. This was told to Osharski off the record. I get things reported to me off the record all the time. It's on background is how a lot of people in our business call it. I'm going to tell you this on background so you understand where we're coming from. Osharski was pretty obviously told this on background. Did you get any sense in reading the coverage of the Bucks potentially trading Antetokounmpo that this was fait accompli, that he was done? I didn't. This also made me wonder if a Bucks beat reporter is keeping this relevant information from the public for the better part of a month and a half, 2 months, and then buries it on paragraph 22 of his story when Giannis is ultimately traded. What else are reporters keeping from the general public? Bottom line, though, Giannis is gone, and his what he means to the state of Wisconsin goes well beyond basketball. I mean, the NBA championship in 2021, the MVPs, the All-NBA. He's the Bucks leader in pretty much every major statistical category. He's played more games with the Bucks than any other player in franchise history. Believe it or not, Cavalier Johnson, mayor of Milwaukee today, summed up very, very well what both Giannis and Bobby Portis meant to the community of Milwaukee, meant to Milwaukee and Wisconsin's culture.
It's a bittersweet day in Milwaukee. It's bitter because Giannis and Bobby Portis as well are leaving Milwaukee, and they have been just incredible assets in this community. This is beyond basketball. These gentlemen have been an integral part of our community for so many years. Of course, everybody will point to the NBA championship from a couple of years ago, and that was wonderful and great and created so much pride in Milwaukee and in the Milwaukee Bucks. But it's even beyond that. I mean, the work and the giving back that Giannis has done in our community over the years has been remarkable. His wife, Mariah, has stepped up, working to make sure that women in particular, with the Milwaukee Diaper Mission, got the resources that they need for themselves and for their children. Bobby Portis has been a champion on reckless driving and other initiatives, back to school efforts and all that. So, again, this is beyond basketball. I think folks are going to remember very, very fondly the time that we had in this city with Giannis, with Bobby, everything that they've contributed to our community.
And it's not just the community service and all of that. Both Bobby Portis and Giannis genuinely loved this city, genuinely love Wisconsin. They were ambassadors for the city and for the state. Frankly, I think I might be the one person in the greater Milwaukee area who doesn't have a picture with Giannis after seeing him out somewhere. He was the type of player that would make it cool to be in Milwaukee, make it cool to be in Wisconsin. And everybody loves Giannis. Everyone's going to miss Giannis. But am I the only one who thinks it's a little weird that we're going to keep the giant mural of Giannis up in downtown Milwaukee? He's playing for another team now. When LeBron left Cleveland, they took his mural down. Now, of course, he did so in insanely ridiculous fashion, humiliating the entire city, which happened to be close to his hometown, his home state, with the decision back in 2009, 2010, somewhere in there. But really, we got the Bob Uecker mural now. Why do we need the Giannis mural? I'm not saying cover it up right away, but I don't know. What are we going to paint a Miami Heat jersey over the Bucks jersey? It seems a little weird. NBA draft 7:00 tonight. Don't be surprised if the Bucks are very, very active, trading pretty much every player they have on the active roster to try to get worse. Unfortunately, we're used to this as Bucks fans. We suffered through some bad years. But what we learned during the late stages of the Herb Cole ownership of the team is that you can either be a championship contender or you can be tanking to try to get better in the future. If you are just sort of hanging on to get one of the last playoff slots, you're going to be mediocre forever. Sometimes it's tough to sacrifice in order for you to be better long-term, but that's exactly what now needs to happen. Coming up here on the Dan O'Donnell Show, Democrat Candidate Forum. All 6 gubernatorial candidates attend the Wisdom Forum last night, and all of them doubled down on left-wing radicalism. We will get into that coming up next right here on the Dan O'Donnell Show.
Our iHeartRadio Music Festival, presented by Capital One,
is coming back to Las Vegas.
September 18th and 19th at T-Mobile Arena, streaming live on Disney Plus and Hulu.
And you can be there
For a weekend full of superstar performances.
Are you ready?
Once-in-a-lifetime moments you'll have to see to believe.
We're getting this party going, huh?
Only limited single night tickets remain. Get yours while you still can now at AXS.com. And we'll see you at our 2026 iHeartRadio Music Festival.
Presented by Capital One.
This is Patrick Lynch. Join us for our America 250 celebration at the Lynch family of dealerships. Since 1957, we've proudly sold and serviced American brands. Shop the best deals of the year. Hundreds of Chevrolet, GMC, Buick, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Ford, and Lynch protected vehicles. Deals as low as 0% for 5 years, no payments for 130 days, and receive a $250 gas card. Plus, enjoy a full tank of gas on us. Visit us at shoplynch.com. I want you to love how you feel in your new ride.
Billy the Billy Goat here. Not every roofer can handle the tough jobs, but a Billy Goat can. At Billy Goat Roofing, we're built for the steep, the storm damaged, and we offer a 50-year leak-free warranty. Billy Goat Roofing was just voted best in Milwaukee for roofing. Get honest answers, reliable work, and a roof that's ready for Wisconsin weather. Call Billy Goat Roofing for your free inspection. Always sure-footed when it matters most. Visit BillyGoatRoofing.com.
Catering to all who appreciate quality installation, a great value, and the finest windows and doors. Your clear choice for more, Lisbon Storm Screen and Door. Find us at lisbonstorm.com.
Your clear choice for more, Lisbon Storm Screen and Door.
Buy gold and put some silver in your pocket. I know what you're thinking. Everything's expensive right now. How am I going to buy gold? It's Ron Paul. Nowadays, a lot of things are out of your control. But there is something you can do right now to diversify your retirement, and it doesn't cost you anything out of pocket. My friends at Birch Gold Group will help you convert an IRA or 401k into an IRA in gold, a time-tested hedge against inflation. Plus, in honor of America 250, Birch Gold is going to give you a special America 250 1-ounce silver round for every $10,000 you purchase by July 2nd. Text the word SHELTER to the number 989898 to get a free info kit from Birch Gold and claim eligibility for this limited time offer. Again, text the word SHELTER to 989898 today.
Make News Talk 1130 WISN your number one preset on our free iHeartRadio app. Powered by Gruber Law.
One call, that's all.
Injured?
Remember, one call, that's all.
Listener texting on our Carpetland USA talk and text line has, I think, the perfect suggestion for what to do with the Giannis Antetokounmpo mural in downtown Milwaukee. I think it's a little weird that the city is going to keep it up. He said, just repurpose it with David Gruber's face instead of Giannis's. I think that's perfect. I think that is absolutely perfect. And you change the number on the back of the jersey from 34 to one call. We are idea men here on the Dan O'Donnell Show. Last night, the Democratic candidates for governor gathered at the Wisdom Forum. Wisdom. This is a progressive organization, and every Democrat candidate, the 6 of them who are still in the race. Remember, yesterday, the first of the 7, Missy Hughes, dropped out, immediately endorsed Sarah Rodriguez. It is my very, very strong belief that the fix is now in. Democrats are trying to rig this race against the 2 radicals. They are trying to consolidate the vote against Francesca Hong and Mandela Barnes, and last night was a pretty good indicator of why. Because out of all the candidates, it was Francesca Hong and Mandela Barnes who stood out for saying the dumbest, weirdest stuff. However, if there's a thought that somehow Sarah Rodriguez or Joel Brennan or Kelda Royce or any of these people are any more center or any more sane than the socialists, their answer on illegal immigration and just what benefits they would give to illegals in this state should have put that to rest a long time ago. So the moderators of this debate did one of those things where they give yes and no little signs that each candidate can hold up because they don't want to go down the line and have each candidate answer the question. So for the sake of saving time, they'll ask something like, okay, who all wants universal health care? Of course, every Democrat will hold up the yes sign. Well, they also asked, which of you would like to give driver's licenses and in-state tuition to illegal immigrants? Every single Democrat said they would.
Do you support driver's licenses for undocumented immigrants?
All holding the signs up.
Do you support in-state tuition for undocumented students?
Everyone holds the sign up again.
Should local law enforcement be prohibited from asking about immigration status during routine policing?
Once again, every Democrat held up the sign. Driver's licenses for illegal immigrants is a very left-wing idea. Not just because it is a tangible benefit to immigrating to this state and this country illegally. Same thing with in-state college tuition for would-be students to the UW system. They are not eligible for it. I would argue that we should not be allowing people who come into this country illegally to have the benefit of our government-sponsored university system. But that's probably a losing battle. In fact, we should not be giving benefits to anyone who is not in this country legally. We don't want to incentivize people to take their lives in their hands by trying to cross the border with the drug cartels who are now running coyote operations across the Rio Grande. Now, fortunately, because the Trump administration has been so successful on closing down the border, we have not seen similar waves of illegals coming into this country anywhere near what we saw during Biden, but of course also during some of the early days of the first Trump administration and during the Obama administration, going back to George W. Bush and even before that as well. The border is sealed off. I mean, we know how to do it, and we can do it very, very quickly, but you do still have a whole lot of illegal immigrants in this state. Giving them driver's licenses is a step, a big step, since, you show a driver's license in order to vote, and somebody would have a driver's license, somebody would have an address in Wisconsin that would, to a poll worker, say, hey, yes, you can vote. That's a big problem. But more importantly, it reveals that every single one of these candidates wants to have as many illegals in this state as humanly possible. Now, of course, you are never, ever, ever going to be able to compete with the socialists in terms of giving government bennies to people who don't really deserve them. And Francesca Hong proved that last night. Not only does she want to give in-state college tuition and driver's licenses to illegals, she wants to give them free car seats, free auto mechanic services, and much more. It's like if Franny Hong is elected governor, the illegals in this state win the showcase showdown.
So I think it's imperative that the state actually help fund these initiatives, that we are funding local immigrant justice organizations and those who are providing basic needs and ensuring that immigrant communities are able to get to work, that there's childcare, there's car seats for folks, that we are, there's mechanics that help them make sure that their cars fixed so they can get to work and live their lives. It is time that government actually get into helping to build community safety when the systems around us are failing.
All right, so my old Toyota Highlander was failing. I was sick of just dumping money into it. And Toyotas, they run forever. And this was like a 2013, 2014. So I drove it for a long time. My son drove it after me. And I just got sick of paying. We ended up getting a new car. We went to Lynch and just got a fantastic car, fantastic terms on a lease. I would highly suggest going to Lynch. Visit shoplynch.com. It's not the point of why I'm bringing this up. You're telling me while I would have to pay for my car repairs, illegal immigrants under a Governor Francesca Hong would have my tax dollars paying for their car repairs so that they can get to work. Not only that, while I had to pay for car seats, and car seats, I remember it's been a long time since my kids were in car seats, but I can remember those were shockingly expensive. Also shockingly difficult to install properly. Illegals get those from my tax dollars, and my wife and I paid a small fortune for childcare before the kids were going to school. Illegals get that free. In fact, for young parents, childcare, if both parents work and they don't have grandma and grandpa nearby so that they can watch the kids while they're at work, that is by far the biggest expense outside of perhaps a mortgage payment. But for a lot of it, it's a bigger expense than rent. It can be a bigger expense than a mortgage payment. Childcare is insanely expensive. Francesca Hong thinks not only should illegal immigrants not have to pay for it, but you, a Wisconsin taxpayer, me, all of us as Wisconsin taxpayers, need to pay for these things: auto mechanic services, car seats, childcare, college tuition, anything and everything for people who sneak into this country. We have to pay for their lifestyle because it is important that they get to. I hope you folks understand this is not just Francesca Hong. It is every single one of these Democrats. Now, here's the thing about Hong. She's dumb enough to say this stuff that will make it onto my show, and I make fun of her, and it becomes fodder for a Tom Tiffany ad at some point. But every other Democrat sitting on stage isn't going to publicize this, is never going to be stupid enough to say, yeah, totally, I want you to pay for car repairs for illegal immigrants. They all want more illegals in this state. They want to subsidize illegals in this state. They want you to pay for the illegals in this state. More from that candidate forum when we come back here on the Dan O'Donnell Show in just a second.
Want to see my drawers?
He means the drawers of the Briley bedroom from Penny Mustard.
Not all drawers are created equal, but the Briley bedroom's drawers are equally awesome. With full extension drawer glides and sturdy bottoms that are 3/8 of an inch thick. And that's good because nothing's worse than when your bottom falls out.
He means your drawer bottom.
But the Briley bedroom is more than just drawers.
I love the flared feet and how the shape of the headboard matches the mirror.
Along with hundreds of fabric options for the headboard and a variety of hardware. And drawer bottom strong enough to stand on. You know, if we dedicate this much time to the drawers, just imagine how well constructed the rest of the Briley bedroom must be. What are you waiting for? Come see my drawers. The Briley bedroom, American made with a queen bed, dresser, mirror, and nightstand, starting at $99.33 at Penny Mustard.
Showrooms in Milwaukee and Chicago.
PennyMustard.com. Better versions of the drawers people want.
Penny Mustard Furnishing.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLSConsumerAccess.org, number 255368.
At Wisconsin's own AccuNet Mortgage, our closing costs are typically $1,000 to $3,000 less than the banks or the mortgage guys with the Rocket for exactly the same rate. Find out how much you can save at ACCUNET.com.
At California Closets, we design for the little things. Take this moment of a family getting ready to leave the house.
Where's my backpack?
Mom, I need my cleats.
My
wallet was right here.
If I trip over these shoes one more time.
And now, the California Closets version of that moment. Entryway and home storage solutions by designers who get you. California Closets. More room for what matters.
Homeowners, are you ready to transform your house into the neighborhood showpiece? Wilco Exteriors has your back with two incredible offers you don't want to miss. Choose LP Smart Side for your siding project and receive a free upgraded custom color that comes with a lifetime finish warranty that you never have to paint again. Or receive a free entry door when you replace a house full of windows or do any siding project. With top quality products and professional installation, you have peace of mind your home will look immaculate for years to come. So visit wilcoext.com. That's WILCOEXT.com. Wilco Exteriors. built with integrity.
It's Dan O'Donnell. This is This Week with Annex Wealth Management, alongside the CEO of Annex, Dave Spano. Significant progress, not just on the memorandum of understanding with Iran, but a more lasting peace agreement. And Dave, that combined with earnings reports that are really, frankly, expected to be stellar, and every other bit of economic data that we've seen, from GDP to consumer and producer price indexes, gas prices going down as a result of the breakthroughs in the Middle East, everything is looking very, very positive. And it appears that this economy, at the risk of jinxing it, is going to take off even further.
Yeah, I think let's start at the very beginning and talk about crude oil down nearly 25% in the last 30 days. So that will absolutely start to see lower gas prices. But as that comes down, obviously inflation comes down as well. And that was a big part of the upward revisions in the inflation expectations. But now you have that all coming together. You got Kevin Warsh coming in as the new Fed chair, who wants to make sure that inflation is in check. I mean, he came right out and said that in his opening remarks, and put that together, as you pointed out, a GDP report, Atlanta now, which is an expectation of what GDP could be next quarter, is very positive. And lastly, as you well pointed out, earnings are going to begin again in mid-July, and expectations are again to do as well as they did last quarter. So all of that lines up to make sure that your portfolio is in place to take advantage of the current facts and circumstances.
Place to do that, of course, annexwealth.com, to get a review of your portfolio by people who are working with and for you as fee-only fiduciaries. For Dave Spano, I'm Dan O'Donnell. Thanks for listening to This Week with Annex Wealth Management.
The global stage is lit. The 2026 FIFA World Cup is on.
Lionel Messi!
iHeartRadio and Fox Sports are bringing you every match of FIFA World Cup 2026.
Live.
Magic touch.
Lock in your preset now on the free iHeartRadio app.
Just search World Cup.
Just a beauty for a second of the game.
Every unforgettable moment.
Wherever you are.
Brilliant from Mbappe. France lead.
Don't miss Team USA's next match Thursday night at 10 Eastern.
The world is listening.
Are you?
iHeartRadio FIFA World Cup Update.
England has a chance to win its group today, and Declan Rice says the team is focused on the task at hand.
We want to go into tomorrow knowing that we're going to be, full throttle, ready to go, want to win the game, and we also know that the position that puts us in.
England taking on Ghana in Boston. A win plus a Panama loss or draw against Croatia would clinch Group L for England with a game to spare.
For live Fox coverage, search World Cup now on the free iHeartRadio app.
I've got a math question for you. When you add tolerance, subtract prejudice, and multiply efforts to treat one another with respect, what do you get? Less division. And school sports have it down to a science. Looking for an example of what can happen when we realize there's more that unites us than divides us? Look no further than high school sports in Wisconsin.
This message presented by the Wisconsin Interscholastic Athletic Association and the Wisconsin Athletic Directors Association.
The talk shows on WISN Radio. Not for the faint of heart and not for the feeble of mind. News Talk 1130 WISN. Fact is, until you've heard us, you haven't heard the whole story.
Welcome back to the Dan O'Donnell Show. Coming up in the 4 o'clock hour, President Trump holds a rally in Pennsylvania and talks about the state of the economy. He is right. It is taking off and is about to go gangbusters, but Bidenflation is still a major issue. We will dive into that, plus much, much more coming up. 5 o'clock hour. Very excited. I sort of went on an unplanned rant about the nature of patriotism and love of country. Every single day this week and next, in the run-up to America's 250th birthday, we are going to do some special programming here on the Dan O'Donnell Show in honor of that, usually in the 5 o'clock hour, but as much as we can to look back at this nation's history, to look forward to our future, and to reflect on who we are 250 years after the signing of the Declaration of Independence, which we celebrate July 4th. Of course, your chance to win $2,500 coming up in the 250K USA giveaway. Also, we are giving away Festa Italiana tickets. We always partner with our friends at Festa Italiana. We have got a couple of 4-packs of tickets to give away throughout the show. Just randomly be the correct caller and win those 4-packs of tickets to Festa Italiana. I think are we able to pair those with some Dan O'Donnell Show merch, one of our coffee mugs or our cinch backpacks? No, we're not able to go. Oh, they're digital tickets. Okay. Well, they are digital tickets. We'll find a way to get some more opportunities for you to win some merch. So all of that is coming up. The first installment of our America 250 specialty programming. We call it A Star-Spangled Nation. Coming up in the 5 o'clock hour here on the Dan O'Donnell Show. Last night, Democrat gubernatorial candidate forum, and Democrats all agree on a couple of things. One, they want as many illegal immigrants in this state as humanly possible. Two, they want to make your lives as expensive as possible to fund the illegal immigrants in this state and all of their various pet projects, including environmental nonsense, which under Governor Evers spiked utility rates to levels we've never seen in this state. At last night's forum, former Lieutenant Governor Mandela Barnes, who was the head of Evers' Green Energy Initiative when he served as LG during the first term, he bragged, actually, about getting power plants, specifically coal power plants, shut down here in Wisconsin because, I'm not kidding about this, those coal power plants are racist.
We fought some of these tough fights before, even when it came to We Energies and coal burning power plants. Many people were joining coalitions. Some folks who are in this room right now to take them on to prevent them from continuing to use coal burning power plants because of the impact on Black and brown and low income communities and the disproportionate rates of respiratory illnesses that were created. So again, not just legislation, we need to organize around this issue even more.
The coal plants are racist, ladies and gentlemen. The coal plants, the pollution from the coal plants only affects Black people. What is it like when they elect a new pope? They have white smoke that doesn't hurt people's lungs in the white neighborhood. I understand what he is saying. The coal plants go up around where Black people typically live in Milwaukee. When's the last time a new coal plant went up? The point here is that because, and yes, this is just obvious, ridiculous pandering. The real reason they want to shut down the coal plants is for green energy initiatives, solar, wind, all of that. Weirdly enough, they hate the guy who actually did get America away from pollutants, Elon Musk, and driving electric vehicles. But where do we think we're powering the electric? This is the energy policy is perhaps where liberal thought just completely collapses under the weight of its own lack of inherent logic. Mandela Barnes, though, revealed that for whatever social justice reason that Democrats are pretending is important this week, they will actively make your lives more expensive. Now, how are they doing this? Well, if there are fewer coal power plants, if there are fewer power plants, if there is less power generation, well, then automatically it would seem that power would get way more expensive now, wouldn't it? And this is exactly what happened under the Evers administration. Not only that, you had the Public Service Commission under Evers. Remember, because the utility companies operate as government-sanctioned monopolies in their various regions of the state, We Energies and so forth, they have to go to the government entity known as the PSC, Public Service Commission, in order to hike rates. They have to get permission to raise rates for both commercial and individual residential customers. Under Governor Evers, under the Democrats, Sarah Rodriguez and Mandela Barnes serving as lieutenant governor, rates have been hiked by $2 billion. because Evers and Rodriguez and Barnes's public service commissioners are approving 75% or more of the rate increases that are being requested. By contrast, in 8 years under Governor Walker, his Public Service Commission nominees approved just 25% of the rate increases, a much lower total rate increase for Wisconsinites, and even adjusted for inflation, much, much lower per customer. Elect Democrats, your power bill goes up. Elect Democrats, obviously, your tax bill goes up. That's something on which all of them always agree. They may differ on what they want to spend your money on, but the bottom line is they all want to spend more of your money. They want to collect more of your money, and they want to redistribute it to their preferred voting blocks or future voting blocks, like illegal immigrants. That's all this is about. And whether you elect Mandela or Sarah Rodriguez or Francesca Hong or Kelda Royce or any of them, all of them are going to do this, especially since if we are stupid enough to elect any of these people, it probably means that both the Assembly and the Senate have fallen as well. And they'll, of course, rubber stamp any and all tax increases. Why do you think every single Democrat in the Wisconsin Senate voted against that bipartisan budget surplus bill? Because they didn't want any money going back to taxpayers. They wanted to hoard it all for themselves so that when they come to power, they are able to redistribute it as they see fit. Coming up next, the unhinged liberal of the day, a Christian who hates Christianity. Yeah, sounds like a lib to me. Stay tuned.
From the Lynch Truck Center in Waterford, Total Traffic Center.
94 eastbound, stopping and going from 76th over to 35th at Mitchell Boulevard. Crash block in the right lane, jammed westbound from 27 to Hawley. Northbound 4145 at Hampton, crash cleared out of the way. Still heavy back to Watertown Plank. I'm Kevin Henry. That's your latest Total Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Grandview Homes. Wherever the roads take you today, trust matters close to home. Every neighborhood has its own story, and Grandview Homes knows them well. Having bought thousands of houses for cash in the communities they serve, they're a buyer you can trust. Get your no-obligation offer at grandviewhomes.com.
Based in Lake Country, I'm Endurance Exteriors, Ryan Ketchum. Endurance Exteriors is the company you'd create to do your roof, siding, windows, or gutters if you could. Virtually every roofer hastily prepares and rushes through the project. Endurance remodels your home the way you would with meticulous quality control and attention to detail. Our smaller crews may take 3 days to re-roof or re-side your home because an expertly managed, chaos-free job site provides superior results over too many workers pushing to be done in one day. With Endurance Exteriors, every expert on your property is superiorly trained to install to better than warranty specifications, lifetime manufacturer warranty, GAF roofs or siding and windows. Our employee professionals treat your property, family, and neighbors with unwavering respect. Endurance Exteriors charges on average 20% less than the slap it up and go roofer for just as you would if you could installation, care, quality material, and workmanship warranted for life, GAF roofs or siding and windows. Exterior remodeling the way you would if you could. EnduranceExteriors.com. That's EnduranceExteriors.com. EnduranceExteriors.com.
Learn the secrets to create your own ultimate backyard retreat with Brett Ochtenhagen of Brett Ochtenhagen Seasonal Services. Tune in every Saturday at 1 p.m. on News Talk 1130 WISN. Learn more at seasonalservices.com.
Do you have a written financial plan? Hi, I'm Aaron Kowal of Kowal Investment Group. We have recently joined Creative Planning, a national registered investment advisor. This move allows us to provide more comprehensive wealth management services to help with all aspects of your finances, including your investments, taxes, estate plan, and more. At Creative Planning, we understand life is busy, and sometimes important things like retirement planning can fall to the wayside. So I'm here to remind you to take time to plan. A 1-hour complimentary consultation with our fiduciary advisors will help you get started on the path to your dream retirement. We will review your current financial situation, your goals and needs, and help you plan for life's what-ifs. Don't delay planning for your future any longer. And even if you already have a plan, a second opinion from our advisors can help determine if there are adjustments to make. Kowal Investment Group is now Creative Planning. Visit creativeplanning.com to get started. That's creativeplanning.com.
You know that pile of clothes you've been meaning to deal with? Yeah, same. That's why I love Trashy. It's the easiest way to clean out your closet, send your clothes somewhere better, and actually get rewarded for it. No more letting things sit around or wondering what to do with them. You just fill up a take-back bag with clothes you don't wear anymore, send it in, and Trashy takes care of the rest, keeping it out of landfills and giving it a second life. It's such a simple way to feel good about clearing space and doing something better for the planet. And here's the best part. You earn cash rewards back for every bag you send, which makes it even easier to stay consistent. You can check it out at trashy.io. Plus, with Trashy Unlimited, you can get unlimited bags for just $48 your first year. An easy at-home cleanout system so you can stay on top of it all year long. Clean out, donate, earn rewards. Head to trashy.io to get started today.
Dan O'Donnell here, my friends at Old Fashioned Roofing, a veteran-owned Wisconsin tradition where a handshake still matters. Find them at oldfashionedroofing.com.
That's old-fashioned roofing.
I'm Tim Scott with another memory from the Wisconsin Athletic Hall of Fame.
Green Bay legends Mason Crosby and Jordy Nelson come to Beloit for the annual Border Brouhaha Softball Slam July the 19th.
That's what I've been waiting for.
For more information and tickets, go to team-lammy.com.
It's 2007, and Brewers prospect Ryan Braun is called up to the bigs. Braun went 1 for 4 with 2 RBIs in his debut. Then Braun would go on a tear in what some sports writers called one of the most dominant rookie seasons in baseball. He would win National League Rookie of the Month for June and July and would finish as the National League Rookie of the Year. The Brewers legend headlines this year's class into the Wisconsin Athletic Hall of Fame. Tickets and VIP experiences are still available. For more, log on now to WIHallOfFame.com.
From Wisconsin to the world and everywhere in between, the Mark Belling Podcast, my take on everything. Season 2 is underway. New episodes drop Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday on iHeart or wherever you get your podcasts. Intelligent discourse and irreverent fun. You get both, hopefully, in equal measure here on the Dan O'Donnell Show. Welcome back to it. Here's the irreverence. It's time to name the unhinged liberal of the day.
Does that make me crazy?
Trump is Hitler.
We are in pre-Nazi Germany. Does that make me crazy?
All white people are racist.
Does that make me crazy?
Trump is dangerous because he's evil.
America is
over. Today's unhinged liberal of the day is Senate candidate James Tallarico down in Texas. He is running against Ken Paxton, the Trump-endorsed Attorney General for the U.S. Senate seat that is going to be abandoned by John Cornyn after Paxton defeated Cornyn in the Republican primary earlier this summer. Well, Tallarico fancies himself as a new type of Christian, a lib Christian who, according to him on a podcast back in 2021, hates Christianity. That's right. He is a self-described Christian who hates Christianity.
Yeah, and that's, I always think of myself as a Christian who hates Christianity, yep. Right? And I always get drawn back into it.
Yeah, I'm sure that'll play well in the decidedly non-Christian state of Texas. Is there a better liberal description of somebody who tells all their friends, yes, I'm Christian, than a Christian who hates Christianity? Yes, I am spiritual. I love the teachings of Jesus. I just hate his fan club, i.e. Christians who tend to be conservative. I hear some variation of that near constantly coming from the quasi-religious left. Wouldn't want to be a guy running for Senate in Texas who has to answer for a statement like that. That's on video. James Tallarico is your unhinged liberal of the day. When we come back here on the Dan O'Donnell Show, Daily Trump Date, and much, much more. Stay tuned.
All programs on News Talk 1130 WISN are broadcast through the Annex Wealth Management Studios. Annex Wealth Management. Know the difference. Stay informed all day, every day on News Talk 1130 WISN. Milwaukee, an iHeartRadio station. Guaranteed human.
Good afternoon. I'm Dave Michael. Secretary of State Marco Rubio is visiting the United Arab Emirates as he meets with Gulf allies to discuss a U.S.-Iran peace deal. Saying earlier today, while the groundwork has been laid, a lot of work remains.
We know what they agreed to. I don't know why they have to say the things they say. Whatever their internal or domestic politics is, I guess they'll navigate it. But we know what they agreed to do, and now they'll either do it or they won't. And if they do, the process moves forward, and if they don't, the president will have some decisions to make.
A 32-year-old man was taken into custody last night after a police response in Whitefish Bay. Authorities say the man is known to have ongoing mental health issues and had a physical altercation with another person earlier in the day. And a stinky flower is ready to bloom again at a Milwaukee area attraction.
A corpse flower named Penelope expected to bloom inside the tropical dome at Milwaukee's Mitchell Park Domes at any hour today or Wednesday, according to the Milwaukee Domes Alliance. The timing is not exact. Penelope's last bloom took place 2 years ago, and once the bloom opens, it lasts 24 to 48 hours, releasing a strong odor as part of the blooming process, which gives the corpse flower its name. Updates on Penelope's progress are expected to be posted on the Milwaukee Domes Alliance Facebook page. Bob Haig, Wisconsin Radio Network.
Checking the Holiday Automotive of Fond du Lac Sports Scoreboard. It's the Brewers and Reds again tonight in Cincinnati. First pitch, 6:10. From the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin News Center, I'm Dave Michaels on Wisconsin's most listened to radio station, News Talk 1130 WISN.
Here's the latest forecast, powered by WillysWorldCustoms.com from the Fox 6 weather experts.
Increasing clouds tonight, temperatures dropping through the 60s this evening. Thunderstorms move in overnight. Showers and thunderstorms on Wednesday, heavy rain in the morning, wind and hail possible in the afternoon with a high of 73. I'm Fox 6 Chief Meteorologist Tom Walks.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. Shop DeWalt deals at Lowe's. Get a free Select DeWalt 20-volt max power tool when you buy a Select 20-volt max 5AH battery kit 2-pack. Valid through 6/24 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
State-of-the-art care from one of Wisconsin's most accredited TMJ and sleep therapy specialists
to significantly reduce pain and inflammation while we find the root cause of your TMJ problem.
Elmbrook Family Dental.
Tracy, why are you wearing a snorkel in the living room?
Have you seen the dust floating in the sunbeam, Jason? It's like a tiny furry parade is marching through our lungs.
It's just dirty ducks. Capital can clean the air you breathe and improve your air conditioning system's efficiency.
And we're taking $200 off the price right now.
So you can take the snorkel off. You look ridiculous.
I look prepared. Call Capital and get your $200 off duct cleaning offer today.
Call CapitalCares.com.
Billy the Billy Goat here. Not every roofer can handle the tough jobs, but a Billy Goat can. At Billy Goat Roofing, we're built for the steep, the storm damaged, and we offer a 50-year leak-free warranty. Billy Goat Roofing was just voted best in Milwaukee for roofing. Get honest answers, reliable work, and a roof that's ready for Wisconsin weather. Call Billy Goat Roofing for your free inspection. Always sure-footed when it matters most. Visit BillyGoatRoofing.com.
Buy gold and put some silver in your pocket. I know what you're thinking. Everything's expensive right now. How am I going to buy gold? It's Ron Paul. Nowadays, a lot of things are out of your control, but there is something you can do right now to diversify your retirement, and it doesn't cost you anything out of pocket. My friends at Birch Gold Group will help you convert an IRA or 401k into an IRA in gold, a time-tested hedge
Welcome back. 4 o'clock hour starts right now. And President Trump was in Pennsylvania today. He still is. I don't believe Air Force One has left. Rally this afternoon at the Mack truck facility there. And he's touting the economy, which, of course, is going to be the big issue on everyone's minds this November. It always is. People vote with their pocketbooks. What if the Trump economy was already very, very good and poised to get even better after the detour in Iran, and the only thing really standing in the way of prosperity, or at least a feeling that all are sharing in that prosperity, is the hangover that we're still suffering from the Biden administration? That is where we find ourselves right now. If you'd like to join the show, 414-799-1130 on our Carpetland USA Flooring Center talk and text line. You can always email me, dod@iheartmedia.com. Watch the show streaming live via the Dano Cam. We are on YouTube, as well as across social media, X, Facebook, Instagram, at Dan O'Donnell Show, everywhere. And again, we do please ask that you subscribe to the Dan O'Donnell Show podcast on iHeartRadio or wherever you listen to podcasts. And also, if you miss a single thing, we break a lot of news on this show. We move very, very quickly. We cover a lot of ground, and a lot of times things change. If you miss a single second, well, you've probably missed something big, and that's why you need to listen to the Dan O'Donnell Show podcast. Again, iHeartRadio or wherever you listen to podcasts. Time now for the Daily Trump Date.
We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning.
Trump just keeps winning.
It is a win for the administration.
It's also a big win for the United States.
We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more.
President Trump heading to perennial battleground Pennsylvania today, visiting a Mack truck manufacturing facility, delivering an economic address. This was his first public appearance outside of Washington, D.C., following that interim agreement to enter the war with Iran. That would be news. To end the war with Iran. He highlighted the resurgence of the manufacturing sector in this country under his second term because of, yes, the tariffs, but also because of the one big, beautiful bill that he said is expanding prosperity to all.
Thanks to our great Republican majorities in Congress last 4th of July, I proudly signed the largest tax cuts in American history. We gave you the biggest tax cuts in American history. Not bad. Not bad. We delivered no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security for our great Pennsylvania seniors. No tax. And our tax cuts are projected to boost take-home pay for Pennsylvanians by an average of more than $10,000 a year per household.
The focus of the president's address, of course, how his administration's policies and the Republican majorities are delivering real results for hardworking Americans. Now, as he said, the economy is in fact going gangbusters after that slight little detour in Iran. But now that that is largely settled, we can get down to the business of bringing America back economically.
As you know, we just achieved a historic peace agreement with Iran to end the conflict in the Strait of Hormuz. And by the way, yesterday, 19 million barrels of oil flowed out of the Strait of Hormuz, a very beautiful place. That's the most oil in the history of the Strait. No, it's never been any, you've never seen anything like that. It's called an oil gush. And most importantly, we are ensuring one thing very importantly, because this is why I did it. I did it for this reason, 99% for this. Iran will never have a nuclear weapon, and they've agreed to that.
Back in Washington, D.C., major announcement by Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche. A string of arrests, hundreds of them, in Medicare and other government welfare fraud schemes.
Today, we are announcing federal and state charges, all of which were charged or unsealed at some point over the past 2 weeks, the past 14 days. Coordinated nationwide action. Since June 8th, we've charged 455 defendants across 56, like I said a minute ago, U.S. attorney's offices, and 45 U.S. states and territories. As alleged in the various indictments, these individuals participated in healthcare fraud schemes involving over $6.5 billion in false claims submitted to Medicare, Medicaid, and other healthcare programs.
Fraudsters, according to Blanche, would use deceptive practices, fake telemedicine visits, unnecessary medical treatments, skin grafts that were never needed and, of course, never performed. They would get bills for medical equipment that was never actually ordered. This was one of the most extensive coordinated healthcare fraud enforcement actions in the Department of Justice's history. The DOJ today also announcing that it's established the West Coast Strike Force to combat fraud in Medicaid and deployed additional federal prosecutors to tackle the issue, which Dr. Oz said at that press conference is perhaps more prevalent in California than much of the rest of the country combined. Now, authorities have seized luxury homes, cars, jewelry, offshore accounts. It is very impressive what the federal government did. Now, one of the more interesting parts of this comes to us from the Chicago Tribune. I was forwarded this by a listener. This is from the Chicago Tribune's official X account. The owner of an Oak Lawn methadone clinic has been charged in a fraud scheme that allegedly swindled millions of dollars from government programs that were used to fund an extravagant lifestyle, including luxury cars and a yacht named Butt Naked, Nekkid. That was the Chicago Tribune reporting that. Butt Naked. So, congratulations to the Trump administration for finally sinking the SS Butt Naked. That, ladies and gentlemen, is your daily Trump date every day here on the Dan O'Donnell Show. We like to get you caught up on what it is that's going on in Trump's White House so that you don't have to hear it from the horribly biased nightly news. As the war on liberal desecration of the Lincoln Memorial reflected, I never thought we would get charged. Do you realize one of the guys who was charged with basically ripping a 300-yard long hole in the bottom of the new lining that they put in the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pond was a 3-time Olympic canoeist? Also, they can say, well, the Trump administration, Donald Trump can't even win a war against algae. Yes, because liberals are so freaking nuts, they will even attack the reflecting pool to go after Trump. Bottom line is that President Trump is right that after the diversion, the I don't want to call it a diversion, but after the detour, I believe he's calling it, in Iran, saying, okay, we could not allow Iran to try to develop a nuclear weapon, which our intelligence said they were going to. We needed to get them into line. And yes, we knew that was going to cause some short-term pain, especially at the pump. Gas prices were going to rise, but now we have got a long-term solution effectively. If Iran behaves and adheres to the memorandum of understanding and then a broader peace agreement that is going to follow and flow from this, and we're already seeing huge progress on that, then the United States and the rest of the world will be swimming in oil. Remember, we are, again, the #1 energy exporter, oil exporter in the entire world. This gives us significant leverage in our ability to power the engine of our economy and also to get ourselves even richer by selling oil to other countries. We now don't have to worry as much about the insanity and price fixing and all of this coming from OPEC. And we hopefully, because we have broader agreements with those countries under Trump. Remember, he went to Saudi Arabia in the first couple of months of his second term last year to get these broader agreements to try to get the Middle East more aligned with the U.S., to get him to stop constantly trying to destroy Israel and to sort of unite behind Saudi Arabia as opposed to Iran, to isolate Iran from its Gulf Coast neighbors. And that's exactly what happened. Now you have got the United States able to lean on a whole lot of different Middle Eastern allies to help try to keep Iran in line and to help try to enforce this agreement. Not only that, there is going to be a more stable oil market that the United States is better able to control. Because remember, the other country that we sort of brought under our thumb this year, Venezuela. Again, all of this, Venezuela, Iran, it is all aimed at China. It is all aimed at not allowing China to control a significant portion of the world's oil supply, and instead to be more dependent upon us as we are on them for a lot of our manufacturing. That said, now that that diversion is over, the United States is poised for, I think, an amazing renaissance. Now, I am, of course, the ultimate free trader, and I was never a big fan of Liberation Day and the tariffs and that sort of thing. I understood the value. I understood using them, and I thought it was actually a brilliant negotiating gambit to be able to leverage access to the American market in order to get countries to lower their tariff rates and to remove some of those non-tariff barriers to free trade, some of those protectionist trade policies that would never allow American products to compete on an even playing field. I understand all of that. But I also understand that the single best thing that the Trump administration has done is largely wrapped up in that one big, beautiful bill, broad-based tax cuts, making existing tax cuts permanent. No tax on tips, no tax on overtime. That's good. That's great. But business taxes being lowered and regulatory burdens being cut. Opening not just the American oil industry, but freeing every industry from the bureaucratic nightmare that the Biden administration had created is allowing American innovation and entrepreneurship to take hold like nothing else before. We stand at the precipice of a brand new economy. One powered by AI, one powered by supercomputing, robotics, space exploration, space manufacturing, space, just the commodification of space is something, yes, I know much has been made about the fact that, SpaceX shares are down. Yes, they're going to do that. Stocks have a tendency to go up and down. Prices fluctuate. The thing has been on the market for a grand total of about a week and a half now. The point is that America is at the forefront of all of this. We're not in a manufacturing world anymore. We are in an innovation, tech, artificial intelligence world. The fact that this is all sort of happening with America as its epicenter means that we are absolutely standing on what could be the next great boom that makes the internet boom of the late 1990s, early 2000s, and the cell phone mobile tech boom of the late 00s and early 2010s look like a little ripple. AI has the potential to change everything. And so long as America is developing the AI and AI adjacent technologies, i.e. the things that go into AI, the things that make AI possible, Yes, that does include data centers, and I know there was much consternation. Microsoft it completed its construction of its very first data center today. I think we're going to get into the broader debate about data centers on tomorrow's show, as now it looks like nationally they're going to deploy the conservative, or at least quasi-conservative comedian Theo Vaughn, just as Charlie Barron's has been the number one data center opponent here in Wisconsin. Theo Vaughn, I am hearing, is now being tapped to go on a nationwide crusade against data center. Boy, oh boy. I understand, but I don't. We'll get into that in greater depth tomorrow. The one thing that continues to hold the nation's economy back, and again, everything is wages are going up. Take-home pay is going up. If you are invested, you cannot possibly be happier with how things have gone for the first 6 months of this year. Unfortunately, we had a 4-year stretch in which the price of everything changed so quickly, so dramatically, that a whole lot of people who aren't established in life, don't own property, don't have stocks, don't have a lot of investments that were being somewhat artificially inflated by the Bidenflation that took over this nation from 2021 to about 2023, they're really struggling. And that is a very real thing. Ironically, if there is one thing that might actually propel Democrats to a bigger than expected win in the midterms, it is going to be their own party's failures on the issue of inflation. Because there are a whole lot of people, especially young people, who maybe just graduated from college and can't find a job, or who are looking and have been looking for a job for the past several years, and they are trying, or worse yet, people who have a job, 2 jobs. Maybe they're driving Uber on the side and they can't make ends meet because the cost of everything, rent, utilities, food, all of it has gone up so dramatically. That is the one thing, and it is a huge, huge weakness for Trump and Republicans. Were I a Democrat, first of all, I would not under any circumstances nominate socialists, especially like the Nazi nut job out in Maine, Graham Plattner, or James Tallarico down in Texas, or Francesca Hong here in Wisconsin, because it makes that economic case a whole lot easier for Republicans to make. All right, this is, as Tom Tiffany is putting it, common sense versus crazy, or capitalism versus socialism. If I were a Democrat, I would not be focusing on these stupid distractions like whether there's too much algae in the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pond. I would be constantly hitting Republicans on the inflation that Democrats actually caused. The fact that prices are at an unaffordable level and have been for years because of Democrats. But they're blaming this on Trump because Trump now owns the nation's economy. Democrats understand this. Again, everything Trump can control, tax rates, regulation, whether or not we have sound economic policy, he is doing. The Trump administration is doing everything right. What he can't do is immediately bring down prices. Was it perhaps a strategic mistake on the campaign trail to promise to bring down prices? Maybe. But remember, Trump was, for the most part, elected because Democrats were such massive failures on the issue of inflation and affordability. Senate committee met today on that issue, showing just how seriously the Republican majorities are taking this. It is a real issue. It is a very real issue for people who are not nearly as ideologically grounded or have a clearly defining political philosophy that will get them to reject socialism and to immediately and always perpetually go back to the side of the sane and the side of free market capitalism. a lot of the people who voted for Trump in 2024, that Trump coalition, those were essentially transactional voters. They voted for Trump because they looked past all of the nonsense of the left and said, okay, Democrats failed so miserably. We are going to give the ultimate capitalist a chance to make prices more affordable, make our lives more affordable. If those people do not believe that their lives are more affordable on election day, they are going to take that out on Trump and the Republicans. We're going to expand on this because it is such an incredibly important thing to understand ahead of these midterms when the Dan O'Donnell Show returns in just a second.
The next generation is here. You're listening to the Dan O'Donnell Show.
From the Lynch Buick GMC of West Bend Total Traffic Center.
Northbound 4145 after North Avenue, got a crash block in the left shoulder. Delays starting down at Mayfair, clearing up after Hampton. Eastbound on 94, earlier crash at Mitchell Boulevard is gone. I'm Kevin Henry. That's your latest Total Traffic.
This report is sponsored by America 250, Wisconsin.
America is turning 250, and Wisconsin is honoring who we are, where we've come from, and where we're going. Join the legacy by visiting wisconsinhistory.org to find an event near you. Let's make history together.
Our iHeartRadio Music Festival, presented by Capital One,
is coming back to Las Vegas.
September 18th and 19th at T-Mobile Arena, streaming live on Disney Plus and Hulu.
And you can be there
for a weekend full of superstar performances.
Are you ready?
Once-in-a-lifetime moments you'll have to see to believe.
We're getting this party going, huh?
Only limited single-night tickets remain. Get yours while you still can now at AXS.com. And we'll see you at our 2026 iHeartRadio Music Festival.
Presented by Capital One.
I'm Total Health's Jay Johnson, the Falls and New Berlin. Feel like you can't lose the weight making you feel lethargic, slow, tired, and old? Hospitalized Medicine's motivated by profit solution is drugs. Everyone, including prescribers, know have very dangerous, life-altering side effects. After 34 years practicing natural medicine, Total Health can tell you it isn't your willpower. It's fat loss resistance, often slowly built up over decades, and you can overcome it naturally. Total Health's Rapid Reset will reset your body's access to fat. Years of stress, yo-yo dieting, surgery, even menopause inflame the hypothalamus and pituitary, your body's master hormone regulators. Rather than burning stored fat, your body utilizes essential reserves. Total Health's Rapid Reset, a science-based protocol, reduces hypothalamic inflammation, rebalances insulin and leptin, restoring your body's natural system of storing energy for future use, then actually burning fat for energy. A 20-pound reduction in trapped fat in the first month is a common result. It's not theory. Relativity equals expertise plus execution. TotalHealthInc.com.
For more information about contests on News Talk 1130 WISN, go to newstalk1130.com/rules.
Milwaukee Weight Loss knows the secret to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day with no drugs or surgery and how to keep it off for good. Right now, get $200 off with the summer special for a limited time only. Go to MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com now to book your free consultation.
Make News Talk 1130 WISN your number one preset on our free iHeartRadio app, powered by Gruber Law.
One call, that's all.
Injured?
Remember, one call, that's all.
Opinion, emotion, passion. This is News Talk 1130 WISN.
I want you to imagine you're a 20 or 30 something and you got your degree, or maybe you went right into the workforce, the skilled trades, something like that, making a good living. But all of a sudden, your rent nearly doubled. Your utilities are 30% higher in the span of just a couple of years. Grocery prices, the price of healthcare, daycare, everything has just gone up. Your wages are pretty solid. You've gotten a 3% raise every year, or maybe you've gotten a couple of promotions, but you're still not able to catch up. You're still not able to keep up. You constantly feel like life is just not affordable anymore. That is how a whole lot of young people, that is how a whole lot of Americans feel. Now, we can talk about how great, the gross domestic product figure is, or how awesome earnings reports are going to be, and why the stock market keeps hitting new highs, and the price of gas is down, and that's great. The price of gas is such a big one because it is the price that most people notice, especially in modern society where we don't really count out dollar bills, or hopefully none of us are still standing in a cash register line and writing a check. We all pay with credit cards, or we pay with our phones, or we have automatic billing. That's another one. We don't even notice that money is gone. It's the same thing with taxes on our paycheck. Because we no longer physically get that check, the vast majority of us, it's just automatically deducted. How many times you get the ACH payment right to your bank? How many times do you notice how much was withheld because of Social Security and the like? Not a whole lot. Gas prices, that number going up is right in your face, and you are paying attention to every last tick of the gas pump. Imagine, though, if you are somebody who voted for Trump and you are voting, oh, you've got to be kidding me. My social media, my X feed just updated. They have to put protective fencing around the stupid Lincoln Memorial reflecting pond to keep the liberals out of it, to stop them from vandalizing it. These people are folks, they are utterly insane. They are crazy human beings. That is one of the biggest stories I think that we're facing, that there is a significant percentage of hardcore partisan liberals who are violent, destructive, and deeply mentally ill. They're attacking the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pond a week and a half before the 250th birthday of this country because they don't like that Trump fixed the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pond. Sorry to get a little distracted there. I just can't believe what I'm seeing right now. They're actually putting up protective fencing around the pond to keep liberals out. Can we put up protective fencing around Wisconsin to keep liberals out? Can we just put a big fence around Chicago? Maybe fence them in around Madison? Rest of the state, you're not allowed to go here. We think you're gonna cause too much damage, libs. We're just gonna kind of fence you in Madison. A lot of the people who are most affected by the affordability crisis are not politically, the people who are politically conservative are going to vote Republican. The people who are liberal, they're going to vote liberal. But there is a percentage of people, and it's a smaller percentage, who are true swing voters. But they do still swing, and they do still decide elections. Well, in 2024, they swung on the issue of affordability, not inflation, because inflation, year-over-year inflation, was on its way down. It's how they perceive that they are doing economically. They voted against Biden. They voted against Harris. It didn't matter who was going to be the nominee. And I firmly believe that Democrats knew that. And as soon as the Republican National Convention was over, especially after that iconic moment of President Trump's near-death experience where he gets up and his ears covered in blood and he's a fight. And how about that? How about the mentally ill libs there too? Saying, oh no, that was faked. That was fake. The man came within a millimeter or two of dying instantly, but no, he faked it. He faked it. He sent some mentally ill, weird leftist to a field in Butler, Pennsylvania, to get shot by a Secret Service sniper and killed so he could fake an assassination attempt. That is the conspiracy theory that the lefties are going. I'm telling you, it is mental illness that is beyond widespread, or just some sort of broken brain, Trump derangement syndrome. Trump irreparably broke a whole lot of brains. I am convinced of it. But for the people who aren't firmly in the anti-Trump everything camp, For the people who actually do vote based on the idea that politicians are either working or not working for me, the people who are most affected by affordability, the people for whom a hike in the price of gas and a hike in the price of rent is going to take the biggest bite out of their net worth, the biggest bite out of their monthly take-home pay, those are the younger people. Those are the ones who are very likely going to decide this election. And unless they start to feel like they are doing a lot better, they're going to swing back to Democrats. And not to mention the fact that Trump is not on the ballot. And we've already seen a number of elections, especially here in Wisconsin, which is considered the ultimate swing state. When Trump's not on the ballot, we just lost a statewide state Supreme Court race by 20 points. By 20. Now, the electorate is going to be a lot different in November than it was in April. But make no mistake, a lot of people, I think, on our side are whistling past the graveyard and pointing to these projected House pickups from, roll call politics and crystal ball and all that. Well, Republicans, they're lean Republican. There's 216 seats. We're just fine. Well, what happens if lean Republican seats really do all go to Democrats in a blue wave? That's entirely possible. It has nothing to do with anything other than, the cyclical nature of politics, the fact that in this country, we will typically vote against the president's party in the first midterm after a new president is elected. And B, a lot of people who voted either for Trump the person and aren't especially otherwise political or don't particularly like either party. These are the people who will tell you that Republicans are no different than Democrats. I will tell you that, well, one party is sane, the other is not. That's a pretty significant difference, but whatevs. These are the people who will float back and forth. And if you lose them, you may lose the election. The economy really is everything, and it continues to be. When we come back here on the Dan O'Donnell Show, the Radicals strike back against Sarah Rodriguez, planting a story in a liberal publication after a couple weeks of leaks against Francesca Hong. Stay tuned.
On Twitter at Dan O'Donnell Show.
More of the show next.
Now, here's traffic from Tri-City National Bank, your hometown bank. Call the Tri-City Total Traffic Tip Line at 414-944-5111.
Northbound 4145 jam Swan up to Silver Spring, crash off to the left at Center being cleared. Southbound delays Good Hope to Burleigh. Northbound 43 heavy from the Marquette to Locust. Southbound a little tight around Bender, then jam from Locust back to the Marquette. I'm Kevin Henry. That's your latest total traffic.
This report is sponsored by Capital One Bank. What's in your wallet? Capital One offers no fees or minimums on checking accounts. And most Capital One cafes are open 7 days a week to assist with your banking needs. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank. Capital One NA, member FDIC.
My radio show was very popular, but the Jay Weber podcast is turning out to be some of my best and most insightful work. This is really good stuff. Twice a week, Tuesdays and Fridays. Find it on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
The Jay Weber podcast is presented by Creative Planning, a comprehensive wealth management approach for all elements of your financial life. Your team awaits. Find the Jay Weber podcast every Tuesday and Friday on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
When I decided to remodel my kitchen, it was important to see more than just designs and drawings. Wisconsin Kitchen Mart made it easy with more complete kitchen and bath displays than anywhere else. The showroom made all the difference when making important design decisions. Along with their talented team of experienced designers, decorators, and installers, my dream kitchen came to life.
For 75 years, Wisconsin Kitchen Mart has been a trusted design and remodel partner for homeowners across southeastern Wisconsin. We create kitchens and bathrooms that are both beautifully designed and built for real life, combining thoughtful planning with lasting craftsmanship. Visit our 18,000 square foot showroom to experience our complete displays and explore Play-Doh custom cabinetry, countertops, fixtures, flooring, and appliances, all designed to bring your vision together in one place. Higher design, higher style, higher Wisconsin Kitchen Mart. Visit wisconsinkitchenmart.com for more information.
Please be advised, you may want to stop eating the following foods immediately: broccoli, kale, blueberries, quinoa, spinach. I thought those were good for me. What's healthy for one person may cause inflammation for another. So how do you know what your body actually needs? That's where Viome comes in. Viome is a simple at-home gut health test that analyzes your real-time biology to give you personalized nutrition guidance and custom supplements. Learn more at Viome.com/gut. V as in Victor, IOME.com/GUT. And use coupon code GUTHEALTH50 to save $50 off your purchase.
One of the 5 actually looked at us and said, if you name it Penny Mustard, I won't work here anymore.
Ben and Arvid from Penny Mustard Furnishings.
Our younger brother, Maynard, told us that name was stupid.
Did he?
And 6 months later, he told me that name was ingenious.
We got hate mail after changing the name Penny Mustard. There was so many people thought it was the dumbest thing ever, but we knew immediately it was the right name, and it is the right name. It fits. It still fits. It always fit. It had meaning to both of us.
Yep.
It's a little weird, but weird things are easy to remember.
PennyMustard.com.
America is turning 250, and iHeartRadio is celebrating with $250,000 weekdays through so you can take the ultimate American getaway with iHeartRadio.
Are you ready to transform your home into the home you've always wanted? Hi, Colleen with Contracting. We have a mission. Our mission is to help you love your home again. One of the best ways to do that is new siding. Whether you want vinyl or LP Smart Side or Hardy plank siding, new siding can give you the look you want. With lots of options to choose from, we will be your guide as you pick out the perfect siding for your home. Horizontal lap siding, shake, board and batten, cedar accents, there's so much you can do to make your home truly amazing. With our home rendering tool, showrooms, and design consultant, no exterior contractor is going to help you like Tri-County Contracting. Go to TriCountyContractingWI.com and see all the tools you can use to upgrade your home, like our exclusive color selector page. Just click the colors you want and we can make it a reality. Free estimates, free design consultations, open showrooms with friendly staff, and a website built to help you create the home you have always wanted. TriCountyContractingWI.com. Siding that will make you love your home again. Tri-County Contracting.
I've been hearing for decades that the markets can solve climate change. Today, we have more incentives for market solutions than ever, and emissions are rising. On this season of Drilled, Carbon Cowboys, the story of 3 market solutions colliding in one multinational boondoggle.
You got to give Bruce and the guys credit. They're Republicans. They don't give a about any of this stuff.
Listen on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Follow Drilled and start listening on the free iHeartRadio app today.
iHeartRadio FIFA World Cup Update.
More history at this year's World Cup as Cristiano Ronaldo becomes the only man to ever score in 6 tournaments.
Coach Cancelo delivering the cross!
Ronaldo scored twice to lead Portugal to the 5-0 win over Uzbekistan. 2 more matches are on tap for this evening. Panama takes on Croatia, and Colombia squares off with DR Congo.
For live Fox coverage, search World Cup now on the free iHeartRadio app.
WISN. Big taxers, big spenders, political cronies, global warming alarmists, charlatans, liars, scam artists, and feeders at the public trough. The threats to your happiness are many, but that's where we can help. News Talk 1130 WISN. Our truth shall keep you free. Smart speakers get a whole lot smarter when they're playing News Talk 1130 WISN. Just ask Alexa or Siri to play WISN Radio and bask in the glow of insight and enlightenment. Liars, cheats, Democratic politicians, liberal media types. Instead, listen to this.
It is the Dan O'Donnell Show, a tour de force of truth. And after weeks of leaks against Francesca Hong, it appears as though the radicals, the left wing in the Democratic Party, is striking back against the establishment's pick, Sarah Rodriguez, the lieutenant governor, after Missy Hughes, former WEDC head, dropped out yesterday and immediately endorsed Rodriguez, and the two held a joint press conference together on a Monday afternoon expecting to essentially set the news cycle for the week, folks. This is exactly how it's done. This is exactly how the Democratic Party operates now. They are clearly, I think, Hughes was promised something in the Rodriguez administration. She was promised a future shot at a run for whatever it is she wants. You're going to get the same deal offered to David Crowley and Kelda Roys and Joel Brennan, so that it's Sarah Rodriguez against the two socialists. They want both socialists, Mandela Barnes and Franny Hong, in that race so they cancel each other out and Rodriguez wins a plurality. Well, it seems as though a story was now planted against Sarah Rodriguez. There are starting to be oppo drops, opposition research drops, going in the other direction as well. Over the past couple of weeks, all of those oppo drops were targeting Franny Hong. Her insane stances on crime. She, in the Journal Sentinel, was a tracker, somebody who was working with most likely a Democrat candidate, followed her to an event in somewhere in the middle of Wisconsin and got her on audio saying that in her perfect world, prisons would not exist. They leaked that to the Journal Sentinel. A week earlier, there was a story at CNN.com. Andrew Kaczynski over at the K file just randomly going in on a Democrat gubernatorial candidate in Wisconsin for her abolish the police rhetoric. Seemed kind of something that CNN normally wouldn't do, unless, of course, this was planted. It is a planted story designed to attack Francesca Hong and to make the powers that be in the Democrat Party think she's unelectable. Well, now it seems that Hong or someone who wants either her or Barnes to be the nominee is firing back at Rodriguez. The story here in the Milwaukee Courier by Drake Bentley, who left a position at the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel to go to this. It's a historically black newspaper. I believe it was just purchased by Civic Media. It is a very liberal publication. This is the sort of publication that a Francesca Hong or Mandela Barnes aligned operator would leak to. Democratic candidate for governor Sarah Rodriguez has previously accepted political donations from We Energies while crossing party lines to support giving the utility company a tax loophole. Rodriguez, the current lieutenant governor, took 3 donations from the corporate PAC of WEC Energy, the parent company of We Energies, totaling $13,800 between 2020 and 2023. In 2021, she was one of just 4 Democrats who voted with every single Republican on AB 191, a bill to repeal the personal property tax. Governor Tony Evers vetoed it, warning it could exempt utility personal property from ad valorem taxes and cost Wisconsin tens of millions in general fund tax revenue, if not more. In his veto statement, Evers specifically flagged the potential for the state to lose millions in taxes owed by utility companies. Now, is Drake Bentley, of all reporters in the state, is Drake Bentley biding his time, spending just hours and hours and hours while Giannis Antetokounmpo is in the process of being traded, meaning there's a much bigger story to follow? Do we think he is just going through the donations to Sarah Rodriguez from 2020 to 2023? And he just happened to notice, hey, look at this. Look at this. There is a pattern here. She gets money from We Energies, and she is voting on AB 191. That is a classic opposition research drop. Classic oppo drop. Now, would this be one that would be from the Tom Tiffany campaign? From the Republican Party of Wisconsin? No. First of all, is anybody from Republicans anywhere, is anybody associated with the GOP leaking to the Milwaukee Courier, and Drake Bentley in particular, who developed something of a reputation for maybe not being the fairest reporter in the entire world while he was with the Journal Sentinel? Of course not. This is a classic leaked story It is opposition research, pretty obviously coming from either Mandela Barnes or Francesca Huang. My guess is Francesca Huang, coming from people who do not want Sarah Rodriguez to be the Democratic nominee. They want one of the two radical. Now, is it possible, since this is the Milwaukee Courier, is it possible that this is being leaked by David Crowley in a desperate attempt to make up some ground on Rodriguez and to position himself as the alternative to either Hong or Mandela? Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I believe there are some close ties between Crowley, his office, and the Milwaukee Courier. I would not put that past. But this story was put in the news cycle today, the day after that big candidate forum that they all had last night, specifically to hurt Sarah Rodriguez and to benefit some other Democrat. Folks, the point in all this is that I believe there are now exactly 50 days between now and August 11th. Things are heating up, and I think things are going to move very, very quickly following the 4th of July holiday, not this weekend, but next weekend. And you're going to see, I think, Joel Brennan drop out probably within the next couple of days. Kelda Roys thinks she's in it to win it. Same thing with David Crowley, although Crowley's heart doesn't really seem to be in this campaign. So if the Democrats make him a good offer like, hey, David, how would you like to be a congressman? Gwen Moore is not going to be serving forever. Hey, David, how would you like to be, I don't know. Senator, I think, has been promised to Sarah Godlewski for dropping out of the 2022 race. I don't know. But there is going to be tremendous pressure on all of these candidates not named Sarah Rodriguez to get out of the race, because Democrats understand, I think, that the best chance they have to blow this race like Mandela blew the Senate race 4 years ago is to nominate Mandela again or nominate Francesca, who is potentially a way, way, way worse candidate. Here's the problem they face, though. What happens if they face backlash from their own voters for this plan?
From the Lynch GM Superstore in Burlington Total Traffic Center.
4194 southbound, just past the Mitchell interchange. You got an accident. It's blocking the right shoulder. Westbound on 894, you're slowing from the Mitchell over to 68th. Eastbound delays from the Hale to past 76th. I'm Kevin Henry. That's your latest total traffic.
This report is sponsored by Infinity Exteriors. Infinity Exteriors has that new look you're looking for. Siding, windows, roofing, and more. All the latest styles come with a lifetime workmanship warranty. Join over 60,000 happy homeowners and get started at infinityexteriors.com.
It's a 9-day celebration that defines summer in our city. It's Summerfest 2026. More than 600 artists playing on 11 stages over 3 weekends. June 18th through the 20th, June 25th through the 27th, and July 2nd through the 4th. All at Meyer Festival Park on Milwaukee's spectacular lakefront. Mix in fabulous food, a few adult beverages, and several 100,000 of your friends, and you have the ultimate summer party. It's Summerfest 2026.
Get started with your no-hassle refi checkup by clicking on the blue button at Accunet.com.
David Brownsdorf, president of Flawless Flooring, recommending iNet for web development and SEO.
That's all?
And graphic design, photography, and video.
That's more like it, Dave. Flawless installed luxury vinyl at 3 properties I own, including iNet. The 8 separate projects were easy, turned out beautiful, exceptional value, and are extremely durable.
But wait, there's more. iNet's creative genius branding and radio gives Flawless a unique identity, making us stand out. Hiring iNet is casting a net that pulls in customers your business wants and needs.
Clever, Dave. Haha, you just might have a future in radio ad writing.
My future is secure in flooring, partially because we cast our iNet 5 years ago.
Having Flawless replace pet stain and stink-saturated carpet is a smell and sight upgrade, making every day more beautiful and less gross. Flawless Flooring, LLC.com.
Having iNet replace underperforming web, radio, any marketing enhances business opportunity for profitable growth. iNet-web.com. CreativeGeniusMarketing.com.
This is Andy Fisher, owner of Wisconsin Concrete Coatings. Before you hire anyone, here's what you need to know. Your floor is only as good as the company installing it. We're a local, family-run Wisconsin business that's completed thousands of floors right here in your community. From garage floors to patios, pool decks, and large commercial industrial spaces, we do it right. Our coating system is built for Wisconsin and up to 6 times stronger than epoxy. Don't gamble on your concrete. Choose proven results. Visit wiconcretecoatings.com or call 262-804-0066.
Clean out your closet, donate your clothes, and earn rewards with Trashy. Send your clothes somewhere better and get cash back on every bag. Get unlimited take-back bags all year for just $48. Trashy. Clean out, donate, earn.
Dave Spano, CEO of Annex Wealth Management, a fee-only fiduciary.
Fee-only fiduciary really further separates the folks that either say fiduciary some of the time or best interests altogether. And it's not just that alone. It is, of course, everything else that we can bring to the table that just isn't asset management. It is estate planning, tax planning, financial planning, all of it wrapped together in one transparent fee.
Know the difference with Annex Wealth Management. Click the Get Started button at annexwealth.com.
Summer is finally here. That means hot seats, a scorching steering wheel, blinding glare, and an interior that feels like an oven. Charisma Customs has a fix for that. Our premium window tint helps keep your vehicle cooler, reduces glare, blocks harmful UV rays, and helps protect your interior from fading and cracking. Plus, it gives your vehicle a clean, custom look you'll love. Stay cooler and drive more comfortably all summer long. Charisma Customs in Delafield. Call 262-444-2525 today.
Are you on track to achieve your retirement plans? Hi, I'm Jeff Kowal of Kowal Investment Group. We've recently joined Creative Planning, a national registered investment advisor. This move to Creative expands our ability to provide comprehensive wealth management, investment advisory, and retirement planning services. Now is the time to put your lifetime of hard work into action. For over 37 years, we've helped clients toward making their retirement dreams become a reality, and we'd like to help you too. And the best part, your plan will be completely tailored to you. Our in-house team of specialists will take the time to learn about you and your family, review your current situation, and find out what your goals are. Then we'll design a plan to help you get there. To get started, request your free meeting today with one of our fiduciary advisors by visiting creativeplanning.com. Whether you have met with us in the past or this will be your first meeting with us, we're excited to introduce Kowal Investment Group to you as Creative Planning. Visit creativeplanning.com today.
A place where freedom of speech and freedom of thought live on. Stay informed all day, every day on News Talk 1130 WISN.
As always, no spoilers for World Cup action in progress right now. I do find it hilarious, though, that they're making England play in Boston a couple of days before America's 250th birthday. Yeah, that's right. You play for your king. You'll be lucky if you don't face our muskets by the time you get out Harry Kane. No, most Americans, because Jude Bellingham is one of the best players in the world. Most Americans, or at least a lot of Americans, see, here's the thing about soccer. It's every American soccer fan has like a second team that they root for. For me, it's Italy and Ireland, half Irish, half Italian. The Italians haven't made the last 3 World Cups, and the Irish haven't made a World Cup since the last time it was in the U.S. in 1994. So I've sort of adopted England as my second team, simply because they haven't won the thing since 1966. If the U.S. can't win, I guess it's been long enough. It's been 250 years. I think my grudge over the whole taxation without representation thing has passed. So cheerio, England. When we come back after the top of the hour here on the Dan O'Donnell Show, we will open up our special programming, America 250, with a special essay, A Star-Spangled Nation. You won't want to miss this. Next.
All programs on News Talk 1130 WISN are broadcast through the Annex Wealth Management Studios. Annex Wealth Management. Know the difference. Stay informed all day, every day on News Talk 1130 WISN. Milwaukee, an iHeartRadio station. Guaranteed human.
Good afternoon. I'm Dave Michaels. Vice President J.D. Vance is saying that talks with Iran have, quote, laid the foundation, unquote, for a lasting peace deal. Fox's Jonathan Savage.
Vice President Vance laid out 4 achievements after 18 hours of negotiations in Switzerland: a mechanism for keeping open the Strait of Hormuz, a process for stopping any return to conflict, a roadmap for technical talks on Iran's nuclear program, and a return to Iran for United Nations nuclear inspectors. This despite the Iranians threatening to walk out in protest at threats by President Trump.
There was a little bit of threatening, there was a little bit of whining, but at the end of the day, the talks continued and we made great progress.
Meanwhile, gas prices around the area have taken a dip at the pump. Fox 6's Carl Deffenbaugh.
Gas Buddy reports Milwaukee gas prices dropped more than 12 cents over the past week, now averaging about $3.70 a gallon. Prices are also falling in Madison, where the average sits at $3.76.
Democratic candidate for governor Missy Hughes suspended her bid for governor today and endorsed Lieutenant Governor Sarah Rodriguez. And former Federal Reserve Chairman Alan Greenspan has died at the age of 100. Greenspan served as chairman for nearly 20 years under Presidents Ronald Reagan, George H.W. Bush, Bill Clinton, and George W. Bush. Checking the Holiday Automotive of Fond du Lac Sports Scoreboard. Brewers open up a 3-game series tonight in Cincinnati against the Reds. From the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin News Center, I'm Dave Michaels on Wisconsin's most listened to radio station, News Talk 1130 WISN.
This hour of the Dan O'Donnell Show is presented by Wershevsky Law.
The quality of your attorney matters more than the facts in your case. Injured? It is about the money. Wershevsky Law.
Here's the latest forecast, powered by WillysWorldCustoms.com from the Fox 6 weather experts.
Increasing clouds tonight, temperatures dropping through the 60s this evening. Thunderstorms move in overnight. Showers and thunderstorms on Wednesday, heavy rain in the morning, wind and hail possible in the afternoon with a high of 73. I'm Fox 6 Chief Meteorologist Tom Walks.
This report is sponsored by Bank of America. Bank of America, sponsor of the FIFA World Cup 2026, dedicated to offering solutions to help businesses meet their goals locally and globally. More at bankofamerica.com/gamechangers. That's bankofamerica.com/gamechangers.
Based in Lake Country, I'm Endurance Exteriors Ryan Ketchum. Endurance Exteriors is the company you would create to do your own GAF roof or siding, windows, gutters if you could. Your own roofing company wouldn't rush to get the job done, cut corners, or sub out roof installation to third-party chucks in the truck who you wouldn't choose to work on your home if you knew, right? Endurance Exteriors inspects every aspect of your project, builds a proposal including everything required to bring your home back to better than brand new condition. Better than brand new, you ask? Many brand new homes have low quality, prone to failure materials, and most roofs are not installed to manufacturer warranty specs. You'd do a meticulous GAF roof or siding or window install because you don't want to ever do it again. We don't either. With Endurance, you will be 100% satisfied with price, quality workmanship, and value for life. Choose Endurance because we do. Exterior remodeling the way you would if you could. EnduranceExteriors.com. That's EnduranceExteriors.com. EnduranceExteriors.com.
Buy gold and put some silver in your pocket. I know what you're thinking. Everything's expensive right now. How am I going to buy gold? It's Ron Paul. Nowadays, a lot of things are out of your control, but there is something you can do right now to diversify your retirement, and it doesn't cost you anything out of pocket. My friends at Birch Gold Group will help you convert an IRA or 401k into an IRA in gold, a time-tested hedge against inflation. Plus, in honor of America 250, Birch Gold is going to give you a special America 250 1-ounce silver round for every $10,000 you purchase by July 2nd. Text the word SHELTER to 989898 to get a free info kit from Birch Gold and claim eligibility for this limited time offer. Again, text the word SHELTER to 989898 today.
The talk shows on WISN Radio. Not for the faint of heart and not for the feeble of mind. News Talk 1130 WISN. Fact is, until you've heard us, you haven't heard the whole story.
Higher design, higher style, higher Wisconsin Kitchen Mart.
Kowal Investment Group, now Creative Planning, is a registered investment advisor. Now for your business report from Creative Planning. For informational purposes only, past performance is not indicative of future results.
Good afternoon. This is Anthony Priester with your closing business report. The major averages fell today as a sell-off in tech chip makers continued, causing concern about the AI trade. Investors moved into defensive areas of the market. Stocks like Walmart, Procter & Gamble, and Johnson & Johnson moved higher. And IBM was a bright spot in the broader sector sell-off. The legacy tech stock rose more than 5% following an upgrade to overweight from JP Morgan, noting the software company continues to drive better recurring revenue, margins, profitability, and cash flow. At the close, the Dow was down 45 points. The S&P 500 was down 107 points. The NASDAQ was down 579 points. From Creative Planning, I'm Anthony Priester.
We are now less than 2 weeks away from the biggest party in 250 years, America 250. The celebration of a quarter of a millennium since the Great American Experiment began. The Declaration of Independence was signed. Freedom was not yet won, but the wheels were set in motion that shaped the destiny not just of our people, but of all people. Welcome back to the Dan O'Donnell Show. From now until the 4th of July, we will be presenting to you special segments on the program, essays, reflections, all designed to get us to focus on what a great people we are and have always been, how special a place America is, and how it truly changed the world for the better. Now, all throughout this summer, iHeartMedia, our parent company, has been celebrating by giving away $250,000 in honor of America's 250th birthday. We are doing it in $125,000 installments. It is the 250K USA giveaway. We play at 8 a.m., 11 a.m., 2 p.m., and 5 p.m. every single day from now until what I'm calling Freedom Eve, July 3rd, Friday, July 3rd, a week from this Friday. The 4th, of course, is on a Saturday. And the 5 o'clock word in the 250K USA giveaway, your chance to win $2,500 is birthday, birthday. Birthday. You have got until 5:55 to go to our website. That's newstalk1130.com. If you're listening to us on our flagship, WISN, WIBA.com. If you're listening to us in Madison on the great 1310 WIBA, you have got a whole lot of time to go to our website till 5:55. Enter the keyword birthday. And if your entry is picked at random, big prize, $2,500 in your pocket to say happy birthday to America. I don't know about you, but $2,500 could go a long way at the fireworks store. What's the big one on National Avenue in, is that New Berlin, Big Bend, somewhere in there? American Fireworks, they've always got great deals. There's the big one down 94. I forget, Phantom. Is that Phantom Fireworks down there? So I'm something of a fireworks aficionado. So we don't like to be called pyros. That's like a slur in the explosaholic community. Like we just enjoy blowing stuff up. I was not able to light off a big fireworks display last year on the 4th of July because it was raining. And so this year I have got like double up. It's kind of embarrassing. So I have spent so much at a fireworks store that every couple of years, my fireworks display is free because I have accumulated enough pyro points to get free fireworks. Yes, they are called pyro points. Again, we prefer explosive aficionados. That is the proper term. Pyro, sort of like calling a little person a midget, right? Like you think it's okay, but it really is, it's offensive to us in the heavy explosives community. Yeah, I am still not allowed to light off my own fireworks display. My wife and daughter got freaked out one year because I was way too close to them while lighting them off. And I said, guys, I don't need a face. I work in radio. 414-799. No, okay. Just so I'm abundantly clear, always be safe when lighting off fireworks. It's my wife and then 9-year-old daughter, so maybe they were overreacting just a little. I always try to be as safe as I can. We actually now have a buddy of mine is a firefighter, and he actually lights off fireworks wearing his full fire suit, mask, all of it. So we're about as safe gets. So please always be safe. It is about the easiest thing in the world to light off fireworks incorrectly and to do so in an unsafe manner. Please always be. Who is the New York Giants player? Jason Pierre-Paul, right? Blew off like half of his hand handling fireworks one year. So please do always be safe this 4th of July. All right. If you would like to join the Dan O'Donnell Show at any point to discuss fireworks safety or anything else, 414-799-1130. That is our Carpetland USA Flooring Center talk and text line. If you'd like to email me, the address is dod@iheartmedia.com. Follow us on social media at Dan O'Donnell Show on X, Facebook, Instagram, where we are streaming live across social media on YouTube as well. Just search for Dan O'Donnell or Dan O'Donnell Show. Every day we are on from now until the 4th of July, we will be presenting special programming reflecting on America's 250th birthday. It's our way of getting you in the mood to celebrate this country and also reminding us, all of us, about the just special people who made this land what it is. And I thought, what better way to kick off our America 250 special programming than with a story about the national anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, this is our audio essay, A Star-Spangled Nation. The start of 1814 had been a devastating one for the fledgling nation of America. The end of the Napoleonic Wars in Europe meant the mighty British Empire could turn its full attention to the War of 1812 and potentially recapturing its former colonies. A series of attacks culminated with the siege of Washington, D.C. on August 24th. The American government was forced to flee the city, and the White House, the Capitol, the Treasury, and the Washington Navy Yard all burned. Hope for the young nation, it seemed, may have burned with them. Across the Potomac River, the British raided Alexandria, Virginia. By early September, they were poised to take the entire eastern seaboard, and with it, any chance of America surviving as a fully independent nation. In Baltimore, a 35-year-old lawyer named Francis Scott Key set sail in the Chesapeake Bay to negotiate for an exchange of prisoners being held on the HMS Tonnant, including a civilian, Dr. William Beans. Key and his fellow attorney, John Stuart Skinner, talked for days with the Tonnant's 3 commanding officers and secured Dr. Beans's release. But in doing so, they learned way too much of the British Navy's plans. A fleet was already on its way to the Chesapeake Bay, and on the night of September 13th, it would lead the invasion of Baltimore by destroying Fort McHenry. That, the British figured, would surely cripple America's resistance and force its surrender by the end of the year. After the Battle of Baltimore, America the nation and America the idea would be ended forever. Of course, once Key and the other two Americans learned of these plans, they couldn't be allowed to sail back and warn the 1,000 troops stationed at Fort McHenry, so they were to be held captive until Baltimore fell. When the 13th arrived, Key, Skinner, and Beans were allowed to return to their ship, but with a heavy contingent of British troops who kept that ship anchored 8 miles away from Fort McHenry. Key paced the deck anxiously as storm clouds gathered overhead. He glanced at Fort McHenry and saw a giant American flag being raised in defiance of the advancing British forces. A thick haze began to envelop the bay as the rain started to fall, but through it, Key could see dozens of British troops and ships all moving into position. Suddenly, the sky erupted in cannon fire. Key would write later, "It seemed as though Mother Earth had opened and was vomiting shot and shell in a sheet of fire and brimstone." But each time that fire would rain down on Fort McHenry, or the rampart Key watched, he could see the flag flying, and he knew that, for the time being at least, the fort, and America along with it, had not fallen. Proudly he hailed from the twilight's last gleaming through the perilous fight that lit up the stormy night sky. The flag that meant America's last hope for survival was still alive. Key held on to that hope with each rocket's red glare and each bomb bursting in air that allowed him to dream that maybe the 1,000 brave men at Fort McHenry could turn back the strongest navy on earth, and maybe, just maybe, the dream that was America would live for another night. But the harbor air grew too thick with fog and smoke for Key to see anything except the flashes of light against the clouds that filled his heart with dread. But then, by the dawn's early light, the smoke began to clear, and the morning sun broke through the clouds, and Key could see the American flag, dirty and tattered, but still flying above Fort McHenry. Miraculously, the strongest navy in the world had been turned back. Only 4 of the 1,000 American troops inside the fort had been killed. The city of Baltimore and the young nation had survived. As the officers on board the HMS Tonnant had predicted, the battle was a turning point, and the war ended just a few months later, only with the British surrendering to the Americans at Fort McHenry. When the smoke cleared in the early morning hours of September 14th, though, all Francis Scott Key knew was the sheer joy he was feeling, and he tried his best to capture it by jotting down a poem he called The Defense of Fort McHenry, which was published in 2 newspapers in Baltimore 6 days later. The poem, which Key's brother-in-law noticed fit the melody of a popular song composed by John Stafford Smith, was reprinted in newspapers across the nation. It became popular as a song and became known as the Star-Spangled Banner. In 1931, it was officially designated as America's national anthem. The perfect anthem for a nation that has stood like the flag above Fort McHenry as a shining light for freedom, even when the forces of oppression lined up against it seemed their darkest. Francis Scott Key saw all of that when the smoke cleared on that freedom's new dawn more than 200 years ago, and it became the final stanza of his poem, a stanza that is no longer sung and is all but forgotten today, but whose theme is utterly timeless. Oh, thus be it ever, when free men shall stand between their loved home and the war's desolation, blessed with victory and peace, may the heaven-rescued land praise the power that hath made and preserved us a nation. Then conquer we must, when our cause it is just. And this be our motto, in God is our trust. And the star-spangled banner in triumph shall wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
From the Lynch Chevrolet of Kenosha Total Traffic Center.
Police with an accident at Walnut and 17. Still got crash cleanup in Waukesha County. 94 eastbound at Highway 83. It's blocking the left lane, causing a pretty hefty delay. Slowing again between 76th and 35th, jammed westbound 27 to Hawley. I'm Kevin Henry. That's your latest total traffic.
This report is sponsored by Pro-Life Across America.
Hi, I'm Angie. Did you know a billboard can save a baby's life? It's true. You can make a difference by helping us spread the pro-life message to reach those who are struggling with an unplanned pregnancy. Please make a gift today. Visit prolifeacrossamerica.org.
The podcast world is filled with grifters who will say anything for clicks. I'm Mark Belling, and I will never say something I don't believe and can't back up. The Mark Belling Podcast is back on iHeart or wherever you get your podcasts.
The Mark Belling Podcast is presented by Uline. For quality shipping and industrial supplies, Uline has everything in stock. Visit uline.com. The Mark Belling Podcast is also supported by Annex Wealth Management. The Mark Belling Podcast is now available at iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts.
Do you have a written financial plan? Hi, I'm Aaron Kowal of Kowal Investment Group. We have recently joined Creative Planning, a national registered investment advisor. This move to Creative Planning allows us to provide more comprehensive wealth management services to help with all aspects of your finances, including your investments, taxes, estate plan, and more. If you already have a plan or if you need to start planning, our fiduciary advisors can help. Visit creativeplanning.com to get started. That's creativeplanning.com.
Homeowners, are you ready to transform your house into the neighborhood showpiece? Wilco Exteriors has your back with two incredible offers you don't want to miss. Choose LP Smart Side for your siding project and receive a free upgraded custom color that comes with a lifetime finish warranty that you never have to paint again. Or receive a free entry door when you replace a house full of windows or do any siding project. With top quality products and professional installation, you have peace of mind your home will look immaculate for years to come. So visit wilcoext.com. That's WILCOEXT.com. Wilco Exteriors, built with integrity.
For more information about contests on News Talk 1130 WISN, go to newstalk1130.com/rules.
Milwaukee Weight Loss knows the secret to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day with no drugs or surgery and how to keep it off for good. Right now, get $200 off with the summer special for a limited time only. Go to MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com now to book your free consultation.
Make News Talk 1130 WISN your number one preset on our free iHeartRadio app, powered by Gruber Law.
One call, that's all.
Injured?
Remember, one call, that's all.
Whenever news happens,
get coverage that's factual,
fair, and balanced. News Talk 1130 WISN.
A Star-Spangled Nation, my reflection on the composition of the defense of Fort McHenry through the eyes of Francis Scott Key, is a talk I've been doing in various forms since, about 2014, 2015. Yes, for those asking, it is going to be available. In fact, I was just putting up the written version on Heartland Post. And yes, we will make the entire video available. We are going to be posting that. Look for it on my social media at Dan O'Donnell Show on X and really across social media. It's really an amazing story about how one man really saw all of this. He saw the potential for it. Now, would the British have made America their subjects again? No, but they would have been taken in as part of the British Empire again. They would have been subservient to the crown. They would no longer be American colonies. They would be very likely just a part of what we now know as the Commonwealth. So a truly independent America very much was at stake just a couple of years after this nation was first founded. The greatest story, I think, of the defense of Fort McHenry, though, is in the nameless, faceless merchant sailors who actually sailed their boats out to the mouth of the Chesapeake Bay. They sailed out to the opening of the harbor. And they intentionally sunk their own ships, the only way that they had to make a living, so that the bulk of the British ships wouldn't be able to enter and they'd get a free, clear shot with their cannons at Fort McHenry. And there wouldn't be an easy way for a landing party to be able to take the fort. Remember, it was defended by only 1,000 soldiers, and the British Navy was bearing down on them. If those merchant sailors didn't sacrifice everything for this country, it's entirely possible everything would have fallen. Remember, people forget Washington, D.C. had just burned. It's a very famous story about Dolly Madison, the first lady, saving everything she could from the White House as the British put it to the torch. There's actually also another great story coming out of that. It was the fact that there was just a storm that appeared out of nowhere and put out the flames of the burning Washington, D.C. And the British were dumbfounded. They thought Providence itself was against them. Now, I don't know about that, but maybe there's something to that. But what these stories serve to do is to remind us that throughout our history, the traditions that we hold dear, why we have the Star-Spangled Banner as our national anthem. And every few years, there are people who want to replace the Star-Spangled Banner as our anthem, that America the Beautiful is a much better song. And why are we singing about a flag? Why aren't we singing, what do you want to sing? God Save the King, like the British do? No, it's actually the perfect national anthem for the United States of America, because it tells the story of people who aren't the powerful heads of state. They aren't the generals. They aren't winning wars. They aren't, it's a 35-year-old lawyer who was a pretty good writer. And he wrote about what he saw as the sky was clearing and how it felt to see the American flag still standing, and the instant knowledge that that was what was going to keep flying above this country now for another 200 plus years. So pretty much all throughout the next couple of weeks, you are going to hear stories like that. You are going to hear stories about America's greatness, about America's fundamental goodness here on the Dan O'Donnell Show. It is our special America 250 programming. You know what boggles my mind about a whole lot of people in this country? A couple of years ago, and I believe this was back in 2014, 2015, when I wrote this. I think I wrote it in honor of the fact that the national anthem had just turned, would have been 2014, that the national anthem had just turned 200. That the defense of Fort McHenry was written in September of 1814. But there is a third verse, a third stanza of that poem where they refer to hireling and slave. There is a line about hireling and slave that the patriots are fighting against, who side with the British. Would you believe that over the last 12, 13 years, there have been people on the woke left who have said, well, we've got to replace the national anthem because, of course, there's a reference to slavery. And then, of course, there was the controversy in 2016 started by Colin Kaepernick in a preseason game against the Green Bay Packers. You remember that? The kneeling for the national anthem trend a decade ago actually started in Wisconsin. Everything, I think, it comes back to Wisconsin. Nobody wanted to stand for the national anthem because of what the flag represents. Not all the greatness, not all the goodness, but the fundamental wickedness of America. Because again, it all comes back to the fundamental, original, and unforgivable sin on the left of colonialism and slavery. Never mind that every people since the dawn of civilization, since before civilization, when we were tribes of hunter-gatherers, we were fighting one another for control of the best hunting grounds. Colonialism, conquest, this is all a part of human nature, unfortunately. Slavery, too. Pretty much every civilization has kept slaves, has had slavery. The idea that we somehow don't salute our flag, that we don't stand for the national anthem, that we don't love our country or are proud of our country because of that, when we're the only country, the only people ever to go to war with ourselves to stop that evil from spreading, to rid it, to excise it from our country. It's kind of ludicrous, if you ask me. So yes, we are going to have a printed version, if you'd like to read it, A Star-Spangled Nation, up at the Heartland Post very, very shortly. We'll have the video as well up on social media. It's part of our America 250 special programming. We will be right back here on the Dan O'Donnell Show.
From the place you want to go, Lynch McGuanago Traffic Center.
Police with an accident at Walnut and 17th. Still got crash cleanup in Waukesha County, 94 eastbound at Highway 83. It's blocking the left lane, causing a pretty hefty delay. Slowing again between 76th and 35th, jammed westbound 27 to Hawley. I'm Kevin Henry. That's your latest total traffic.
This report is sponsored by Fresh Time Market. At Fresh Time Market, $75 isn't just a grocery run. It's 8 delicious meals for a family of 4. Chicken, pork chops, fresh fruits, veggies, and breakfasts. Stop by Fresh Time Market today and fill your basket with flavor, quality, and savings.
Our iHeartRadio Music Festival, presented by Capital One,
is coming back to Las Vegas.
September 18th and 19th at T-Mobile Arena. Streaming live on Disney Plus and Hulu.
And you can be there
for a weekend full of superstar performances.
Are you ready?
Once-in-a-lifetime moments you'll have to see to believe.
We're getting this party going, huh?
Only limited single-night tickets remain. Get yours while you still can now at AXS.com. And we'll see you at our 2026 iHeartRadio Music Festival.
Presented by Capital One.
The only real estate agent I trust here in Milwaukee is Justin Hoffman with RE/MAX Lakeside. Now, thanks for joining me today. And what are some of the biggest challenges that you have had with sellers when it comes to determining the right price for their home?
Well, Sean, we deal with it every day. The biggest challenge sellers face is getting the price right. That's called emotional equity. You built memories, invested in your home. It's natural. You feel your home's worth more than the market. But buyers look at comps, condition, timing, not your feelings. Price it too high means your home sits longer, loses attention, and it will cost you thousands in the end. Work with our team. It's incredibly valuable. We balance your emotional attachment with our strategy, which attracts buyers, gets your home sold for the most money in the least amount of time.
All right. Thanks for keeping us up to date. Just go to wihomeeval.com. That's wihomeeval.com. Or just Google Team Hoffman and check out over 700 five-star reviews.
I'm Total Health's Jay Johnson, the Falls and New Berlin. Feel like you can't lose the weight, making you feel lethargic, slow, tired, and old? Hospitalized Medicine's motivated by profit solution is drugs. Everyone, including prescribers, know have very dangerous, life-altering side effects. After 34 years practicing natural medicine, Total Health can tell you it isn't your willpower. It's fat loss resistance, often slowly built up over decades, and you can overcome it naturally. Total Health's Rapid Reset will reset your body's access to fat. Years of stress, yo-yo dieting, surgery, even menopause inflame the hypothalamus and pituitary, your body's master hormone regulators. Rather than burning stored fat, your body utilizes essential reserves. Total Health's Rapid Reset, a science-based protocol, reduces hypothalamic inflammation, rebalances insulin and leptin, restoring your body's natural system of storing energy for future use, then actually burning fat for energy. A 20-pound reduction in trapped fat in the first month is a common result. It's not theory. Relativity equals expertise plus execution. TotalHealthInc.com.
Here's why. I'm attorney Keith Trower of Warshevsky. You don't ever want a multi-million-dollar injury. If you're seriously injured and represented by a sign and settle firm, insurance companies are in the driver's seat, and your multi-million-dollar injury may be reduced to a multi-thousand-dollar injury.
I'm Ken.
Ken, are you an actor or are you a football player?
No, real person permanently injured by a fraud committing doctor who operated on the wrong side of my back, making pain and numbness far worse and permanent. I had to hire someone else because the first law firm I went to turned me away. That was a lucky day because I hired Warshevsky instead.
Warshevsky's elite investigators, trial attorneys, and legal experts will prepare your case to win at trial from day one.
Insurance companies value your claim based on the quality of your attorney. My $2.9 million settlement proves insurance companies respect and fear Warshevsky at trial.
Injured? It is about the money. Warshevsky.com, 414-276-4970.
Accunet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
This is Brian Wickert, owner of Wisconsin's own Accunet Mortgage. I get that most home shoppers just go with their bank when it comes to getting pre-approved, but that's probably a mistake because banks have a lot of overhead like branches, fancy headquarters, and layers of management. That means their closing costs are typically $1,000 to $3,000 higher than Accunet's for exactly the same rate. And that's not all. Bank pre-approval letters are usually weak and unconvincing, especially compared to Accunet's rock-solid, fully verified pre-approval that provides a $2,000 guarantee to you and the seller. Our senior loan consultants will also look at every possible way to strengthen your offer and pre-approval in the eyes of that seller, especially if you're offering over the asking price. We even call the listing agent to reinforce what a great buyer you are. Banks don't do all that. Click on the blue button today at Accunet.com and let our passionate mortgage pros help you win while you save a bunch of money too. That's ACCUNET.com.
The global stage is lit. The 2026 FIFA World Cup is on.
Lionel Messi!
iHeartRadio and Fox Sports are bringing you every match of FIFA World Cup 2026.
Live.
Magic touch.
Lock in your preset now on the free iHeartRadio app.
Just search World Cup.
Just a beauty for a second of the game.
Every unforgettable moment.
Wherever you are.
Brilliant from Mbappe. France lead.
Don't miss Team USA's next match Thursday night at 10 Eastern.
The world is listening.
Are you?
iHeartRadio FIFA World Cup Update.
More history at this year's World Cup as Cristiano Ronaldo becomes the only man to ever score in 6 tournaments.
Off goes Cancelo delivering the cross. Ronaldo!
Ronaldo scored twice to lead Portugal to the 5-0 win over Uzbekistan. 2 more matches are on tap for this evening. Panama takes on Croatia and Colombia squares off with DR Congo.
For live Fox coverage, search World Cup now on the free iHeartRadio app.
So ESPN was accused, especially its reporter Shams Charania, was accused of trying to talk Giannis out of Milwaukee, to try to get him to a bigger market. So that the NBA, which is, of course, a broadcast partner, major broadcast partner with ESPN, would be able to have one of its brightest stars playing where more people would be buying Giannis jerseys, tuning into Giannis games in the middle of the regular season. It makes more business sense. So the idea was that all of the big ESPN personalities and the NBA itself wanted Giannis to a city like Miami or New York or Boston or Los Angeles, wherever. Of course, unless, I don't know, if you were out all night and just woke up and didn't hear somehow, Giannis has been traded to the Miami Heat for a haul of players, none of whom I think, with the possible exception of Ware, who is Kel'el Ware is a center who's very, very skilled. He's a young guy under an affordable contract for quite some time. He is a player that potentially, if he develops, you could build around. Tyler Hero almost certainly is going to be dealt, I would guess, probably tonight. If the Bucks aren't still in active negotiations with Detroit, I imagine they will be. Bucks are in a full rebuild, but Giannis is finally in Miami, and people are sort of questioning, well, if Giannis wanted to go and play for titles, why did he accept a trade to Miami? It seems like a lateral move. He's going to be paired with Bam Adebayo, but the cupboard is somewhat bare here because the Heat had to trade all of their supporting players, including arguably their second best scorer, in order to get Giannis. Well, could it be Giannis just wanted to play in Miami? And is ESPN now happy that they don't have to go to Milwaukee to cover games in the middle of February? Well, ESPN's Stephen A. Smith today pretty much confirmed that, yes, they are all happy they don't have to go to Milwaukee. He unloaded a rant on his radio show, which I have to admit, I chuckled at, being from Milwaukee and a lifelong Wisconsin resident. He said he felt bad for the guys like Tyler Hero, who apparently he did not know is from the Milwaukee area, and Ware and Jaquez and all of the players who have to go from Miami to Milwaukee.
And your heart goes out to guys like Tyler Hero, who can ball, and others, because Kel'el Ware, 7'2" dude with a 3-point shot. I'm here to tell y'all right now, they can act like they don't know all they want to. It's hard going from Miami to Milwaukee. I'm just going to keep it a buck with you. That is not easy. That is not an easy transition to make socially. That is not an easy transition to make when you're thinking about your quality of life. From Miami to Milwaukee, oh, my God. I think if it were me, I'd cry. I'd contemplate retirement, to be quite honest with you, just for the locale issues. I'm sorry. That would be me. It'd be hard, very hard. I mean, you know, you get to Florida, you get to South Florida, ladies and gentlemen, it's pushing it to get lower than 55, 60 degrees in a winter. In a winter. That's hard to pull off. Needless to say, Milwaukee is a freezer in the wintertime. A damn freezer. I mean, that's a hard one to take. That's a hard one to stomach right there. Make no mistake, but they got to do it.
Now, all those of you Milwaukeeans and Wisconsinites saying, how dare he say he would rather retire than go to Milwaukee? How many of you did retire and immediately spent your winter months down in Naples? Looking at you, Mom. I kid. See, we can laugh. We have a good sense of humor. He's saying, of course. Now, there are Miami for a young NBA superstar. Of course, the club scene I spent a New Year's Eve on South Beach. Actually bought a beer for the guy sitting next to me, who happened to be NFL Hall of Famer Lawrence Taylor. We saw Jamie Foxx walking down the street. This was 20 plus years ago. We saw Jamie Foxx walking down the street with 2 women on each arm. I am not even kidding you. 2 women. He looked like, frankly, he kind of looked like a pimp. But we're like, who's that fellow with all of the young, hot women? Oh, that's Jamie Foxx. It's wild, man. We watched fireworks on the beach at midnight on New Year's Eve. I mean, it is Milwaukee. We don't even do fireworks on the 4th of July. So, yeah, okay, the party scene is a lot better. Also, the NBA season goes from October to about May. Well, April, because the Bucks are not sniffing the playoffs for the next couple of years. Would you want to be, all of you who spend the day after Christmas, or maybe right after New Year's Day, as soon as the grandkids go back to school for a second semester after Christmas break, you are beating it down for Scottsdale, Arizona, or Myrtle Beach, or Naples, or where's the other place Wisconsin Knights retire to? That's pretty much it. I think it's Scottsdale, Arizona, and it's Naples, Florida. And the Village. Well, everybody retires to the Villages. Your parents are in the Villages. Producer Doug says his parents are in the Village. I think the Villages seems like the most awesome place to be. Like when I'm going to see if I can get an age exemption to move to the Villages. You are going to have the Dan O'Donnell Show Southern Command studio at the Villages, where I do nothing but play golf, dominate the old farts at pickleball, and then have 14 brandy old fashions every afternoon, because I am told it is. Do your parents party with the other oldsters down there? I am told it's like frat row. It's like a wild college scene, only everybody is over 70. Every night is Friday night, says Doug. I do like Stephen A. Smith. First of all, Doug it just hates Stephen A. I like Stephen A. God help me. He's an entertainer. He's funny. He makes me laugh. Am I looking for, insanely observant sports takes or otherwise from Stephen A? No, I am not. The man is a funny broadcaster. He is a talented broadcaster. Doug, throughout that soundbite, it's like, this guy lives in New York. What's he complaining about the cold? This jerk. Relax. If you think New York is anywhere near as cold as Wisconsin, you've been in Wisconsin pretty much your whole life. Have you ever lived in New York? No. I can't imagine that New York, the entire city shuts down when they get 8 inches of snow. Okay. They have it's like a blizzard warning throughout Manhattan. We call 8 inches of snow Tuesday. Winter's just hit different here. So suffice it to say, there is a little bit of an adjustment. It's different than a player being traded to the Milwaukee Brewers or even the Packers, right? Because football season is over in January, unless you go far in the playoffs. It's Super Bowls in February, but you don't have to spend just the dregs of winter in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Now, we love it, but let's imagine some hotshot football player who's from Southern California. It's a bit of an adjustment there. NBA draft in about an hour and 15 minutes. We are obviously expecting that the Bucks are going to be very active. I expect them to just stockpile draft picks. I think they are going to trade every possible asset. They may be trying to move up in this year's draft. My gut says that they're planning on just being very bad for the next 2 or 3 years and then trying to come back just like San Antonio did. Obviously, San Antonio got real lucky in getting Victor Wembanyama with the number 1 overall pick. But chances are the next savior of the Milwaukee Bucks, the next superstar, the next Giannis, is probably still in high school, if not middle school. Folks, I'm telling you, those cold winters, those long, cold, dark winters are probably going to be a little longer, colder, and darker if you're a Bucks fan. Now, well, watch my alma mater, Marquette. They're going to have a better basketball team this year. You're listening to the Dan O'Donnell Show. We will wrap things up in just a second.
From the Lynch Truck Center in Waterford Total Traffic Center.
Jammed eastbound 94 in Waukesha County, Highway C to Highway 83 with the crash block in the left lane. Southbound 4145 tight from Good Hope down to Capitol. Northbound delays from Mayfair up to Silver Spring. I'm Kevin Henry. That's your latest total traffic.
This report is sponsored by Wisconsin Maritime Museum.
Before legends fade, they are honored. Join us this September 18th and 19th for the inaugural Wisconsin Sailing and Maritime Hall of Fame at the Wisconsin Maritime Museum. Mark your calendar and visit wisconsinmaritime.org.
So the other day I was walking through our glass shop, and this is a part of our business that is a bit overlooked. Anyways, I'm walking through and I see this large black wooden storm window that was divided beautifully, but it had no glass. So I said, this is a nice frame here. What are we going to do with it? Just replacing the glass? And one of our guys said, no, this is for that really nice house in Shorewood I was telling you about. The customer wants us to install antique glass. And I said, wow, that's going to look beautiful. And it did. It turned out great. This is David Wilhelm. The Lisbon Storm Screen and Door Glass Shop is available for customer projects at almost any budget level. If you're a homeowner or landlord looking for economy glass replacement options, or you really want to add some artistic glass appeal to your home, just talk to us. We have over 60 years of experience and many, many ideas. And that's why your clear choice for more is Lisbon Storm Screen and Door.
Your clear choice for more, Lisbon Storm Screen and Door.
Be sure to listen to the Annex Wealth Management Investment Show Saturday mornings at 11 and Sunday afternoons at 1 on News Talk 1130 WISN. Annex provides its expertise to arm listeners with the knowledge and tools to invest wisely. Annex Wealth Management. Know the difference.
Welcome back to Ask Hasselus. I'm Weston. What's your question?
Are you the Weston from Hasselus Mattress?
That's me.
I'm your biggest fan.
Oh, well, thanks.
The way you talk about employee-free Hasselus showroom, free next-day delivery, and prices that are way low. I mean, nobody does it better.
I don't know what to say.
Say that I can get a free box spring with the purchase of any Sealy Posturepedic or Beauty Rest mattress.
Okay. Now through Monday, at Hasselus, get a free box spring with the purchase of any Sealy Posturepedic or Beauty Rest mattress.
Awesome.
You know what's really awesome? You can get a Beauty Sleep by Beauty Rest Queen Elm Cove A mattress. Others sell it for $1,459, but Hasselus has it for just $794.
I know. I have that tattooed on my...
Wow, you really are a fan.
Told ya.
Save big and get a free box spring through Monday at Hasselus Mattress. Open 9 to 9. Find an employee-free showroom near you at Hasselus.com.
Hey, it's Dan. Summer is here, and my friends at Current Electric would like you to know that they're here to help with any of your electrical needs. Whether it's a Current Electric home standby generator, lighting installation, general electrical repairs, or if you want to learn more about how your roof can start making you money through solar energy for your home, the superheroes from Current Electric will ensure everything is up to code, and they go above and beyond your expectations. Go to callcurrent.com for more information. That's callcurrent.com.
Billy the Billy Goat here. Not every roofer can handle the tough jobs, but a Billy Goat can. At Billy Goat Roofing, we're built for the steep, the storm damaged, and we offer a 50-year leak-free warranty. Billy Goat Roofing was just voted best in Milwaukee for roofing. Get honest answers, reliable work, and a roof that's ready for Wisconsin weather. Call Billy Goat Roofing for your free inspection. Always sure-footed when it matters most. Visit BillyGoatRoofing.com.
Kessler's Diamonds.
I'm Ashley Dvorkin with the Fox Celebrity Profile with Adeline Rudolph and Tati Gabrielle of Mortal Kombat 2. The film reunites the longtime friends who also co-starred in Netflix's chilling adventures of Sabrina.
To be able to do this together again and is a dream come true, and to see the journey that we've taken from starting off in TV together to then being able to do this incredible big blockbuster movie with portraying iconic characters is insane.
Yeah, you couldn't ask for anything better.
Yeah.
Like even like being able to do like days like this or like doing press junkets and things. It's like I'm like, oh, like I got my favorite part done.
It's so fun. And then how do you feel that helped you on screen? Your off-screen friendship, how did that really help you? Or you can even see how it kind of like shines through the characters.
Yes. Obviously our friendship is different than Katana and Jade's friendship, but that love and that loyalty was already like such a strong foundation for us to start off.
Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
Offering one of the strongest lineups of talk show hosts in the history of local radio. This is Wisconsin's most listened to radio station. News Talk 1130, WISN.
Doug, my producer, tells me the Villages has its own radio station. So we could sign on a brand new affiliate of the Dan O'Donnell Show. Well, I go down for early retirement to the Villages. Stephen A. Smith. It's too cold in Milwaukee in the wintertime. Yeah, it is. And frankly, I think as soon as my last kid gets out of college, well, I say that, I'm gonna be a snowbird and go down because it's so easy to do a radio show from anywhere now. And God willing, I'm still doing a radio show years from now. That I say that now, but I'm gonna want to be around the grandkids as much as possible. Although I can already see, folks, it's not so much the winter. It's early spring. I cannot stand early spring in Wisconsin. I don't mind winter. I really don't. I think it's beautiful with the snow on the ground. And, I kind of like the cold. It's when everything is just muddy and dirty and gross. And it's like you have that one day in March where it's like 75 degrees before the 4th of July. And then it doesn't get above 60 until June 15th. And you still have, look at what we've been going through the last couple of days. You have the random cold snap in June. Again, back to my theory that meteorological and astronomical spring, I think, astronomical spring is and fall in that is set. The summer solstice is always going to be when the summer solstice is. But I'm saying meteorological spring, what we think of as the spring months, the summer months. I'm telling you, the things have just sort of shifted so that our summer months are now July, August, September here in Wisconsin. That is like peak. You're going to get the best warm weather. You're not going to get that fall chill in the air really until about mid to late September. Our fall months, therefore, are October, November, and December. Winter is January, February, March, and then spring is April, May, June. And yes, we do routinely get snowstorms in April and sometimes May. I think as much as I love summers here in Wisconsin, though, the guys who are traded here, and I love Stephen A. Smith, not knowing that Tyler Hero spent the first 18 years of his life in Milwaukee. Oh, I feel bad for Tyler Hero having to go from Miami to Milwaukee. Now, I do think it's kind of funny. When Tyler Hero was first drafted, obviously, all of us who went to Whitnall High School were very happy, very proud. Like, my goodness, there's a guy from our high school is going to the NBA. And Hero said, I'm just so happy because where I'm from, not a lot of people make it out. He's from Greenfield, Hales Corners. Now, my brother and I were watching the NBA draft while we were on vacation. I think we were in the Wisconsin Dells. And, my brother takes a sip of his beer without missing a beat. He said, yeah, Tyler, because the Whitnall area is a place where people make it out too. It's like, yeah, you were really running these mean streets living next to a dentist. I knew what he was trying to say, though. He was like the first person from his high school to be a professional athlete and all of that. At least I don't think he was talking about the mean streets of Hales Corners. Yeah, it's really rough rolling down Lover's Lane. Man, that what is it? The Bosch Tavern. That's a real rough crowd there. You might see Gene Miller of Reitman and Miller. You got some tough homies down at the Bosch. I laugh. And now my wife last night, I tell her, I was up late because I was waiting for the Giannis trade to come down. And I'm on my iPad, and she had book club, so she got home late. And I said, hon, Giannis, he got traded. She's like, oh man, to Miami, Tyler Hero. And my wife is a Whitnall alum too. And she's well aware of the joke. And I said, yeah, Tyler Hero is getting traded back to the Bucks. And she goes, man, he never made it out after all. So people in my group chats, I'm in like 15 different Whitnall alum, we're all still friends, group chats. People are sending me memes like from The Godfather Part 3. Just when I thought I was out, they pull me back in. Tyler Hero getting sucked back into the gang life of Hales Corners, Wisconsin. I would not expect him to be a Buck for much longer. And you know what? I'm just going to say, when I finally get down to the Villages, like when I finally saved enough money, I'm going to say, you know what? I'm proud because not a lot of people from where I'm from make it out. Have a great night, Wisconsin. Back tomorrow.